Hi guys, can you hear me now? We can hear. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, I think we are. Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, generally it works. Today for some reason the audio input was not recognized. So we are live now, and I think the audio is fine. Thank you guys for being patient. Sorry about the wait, and thank you so much for being patient. Good to see all of you guys are still here. Okay. Good to see all of you guys are still here, and we're going to have a very long stream today. We're going to cover most of arithmetic, and we are going to make sure that arithmetic is solid by the end of today's stream. Okay. Hi, good to see all of you. Hi, thanks so much, the guys who were saying. Okay, I think everything's fine now. Okay, audio, video, everything is fine. Okay, cool. Okay. One small thing, guys, please like the stream. I see that there are like 137 people on the stream and very few likes. Guys, please like the stream and we'll get started. Thank you so much for joining us. And in today's session, we are going to cover most of arithmetic. In today's session, we are going to cover averages, ratio and proportion, percentages, mixtures and solutions, time and work, time, speed, distance. We'll have another arithmetic stream for profit and loss, interest, and for advanced problems from time, speed, distance. So basically we are going to split it, but today we'll cover like 70% of arithmetic in this stream. We are going to solve lots of questions, and we are also going to start from the very basics. So like considering formulas, everything will start from the very basic as such. So today is going to be a longish stream, but we'll cover everything. So good to see a lot of people there. Please like the stream. I see a lot of people there and very few likes. So guys, please like the stream. Okay, Rishi is asking, ma'am, I get paid in cash, so I can't show bank statements in this case. Are an offer letter, relieving letter, salary slip and work enough to prove? Yeah, they're more than enough. Basically, if you have offer letter and salary slips and relieving letter, that is more than enough. These three things, if they are there, that is sufficient to prove your case. Okay, good to see all of you guys there. Okay, how long, ma'am? It would be around 4 hours. Okay, but you are free to stay with us and solve as many questions as possible. All the questions we'll put up here only. It will not be on cracku.in/live. It will be here. So you solve along with us, and you need not go anywhere. It will be on YouTube only. Okay. Good to see all of you guys here. Let's get started. This is a longish stream, so let's get started. One thing that I will say, okay, this is the this. So we'll be covering most of arithmetic. We'll start with easy questions and then we'll be ramping up the difficulty. Me and Maruti both will be taking it. So he'll be coming in and he'll be doing the harder questions. So we will be covering most of arithmetic. So if you haven't covered arithmetic or arithmetic is slightly shaky, don't skip this stream because this will help you quite a bit in making sure your arithmetic is solid. So let's get started. Okay, so we'll start with averages. Okay. So in averages, I think most of you already know the basics of averages. What are averages? So what is the definition of average? See, if you have like say n numbers, x1, x2, x3 and so on till xn, that is n values are there, okay? Then what is an average? It is the sum of all these values till xn divided by the number of terms. So simple, basically what is average? You add everything up, divide by the number of terms, you get the average. Averages, I'm sure everybody understands very intuitively what an average is. Now we'll come to a slightly different topic, which is weighted average. Weighted average basically is that instead of having a simple average, instead of giving equal weightage to everybody, instead of saying that A plus A plus A, instead of adding everything, you first multiply each element or each thing with its weight. So this I think you would know from like GPA. If you guys have ever calculated GPA, the weight of a particular grade is given by the weightage given to a particular subject. So you will consider the weightage average to be W1x1 plus weight of the second entry into x2 plus weight of the third entry into x3 and so on till you have Wn. Till you have Wnxn. This is basically weighted average. You first multiply each element with its weight and then you divide not by n but the sum of weights. So this will be divided by W1 plus W2 plus W3 and so on. Okay, so this will give you till Wn. Do you remember where you would have used this? So if you were calculating your GPA, each subject would have the subject weightage, right? So subject weightage would tell you that, okay, this subject has this much weightage. So you would multiply your grade in the subject with the weightage. Then you take like the sum and divide by the total credits for a particular semester. That would be the weighted average, which would give you the GPA for a particular semester. Same idea is that the idea of weighted average. Weighted average is, instead of taking equal weights for every entry, you multiply every entry with its weight and then divide by the sum of weights. Okay, this is basic sum of what is average, what is weighted average. But in CAT, you don't get direct questions. No, they will never make it so simple for you. So what do they actually ask in CAT? In CAT, what they will generally give you is, they will give you the average of the whole and a part, and will ask you that what is the average of the remaining part. For example, if they say that if the average of the class is say 48 kgs, okay, average of 6 boys is 54 kgs, then you are asked what is the average of the 4 girls. So there are 10 people in the class, there are 6 boys, and there are 4 girls. So what are they asking you? That if the average of the 10 people is 48, okay, the average of the 6 boys is 54. What is the average of the 4 girls? Okay, so this is basically the kind of question that you will get, where you will be asked an average of a part given the average of a whole and the other part. So over here, how do you solve something like this? See, over here, the basic idea is that whenever averages are given and you have to split it into parts, convert the average into sum. If you convert the average into sum, what will you get? That the sum of the weights for these 10 people will be 48 into 10. So the total weight of these 10 people is how much? That will be equal to 480 kgs. If the total weight is 480 kgs, what is the weight of the 6 boys? Average is 54. So on average, one boy weighs 54 kgs. So how much will the 6 boys weigh? That will be 6 into 54. So how much that would be? 6 into 54 would be, this would be 6 into 50 is 300, 4 into 6 is 24. This will be equal to 324. Okay, this part, which is the weight of the boys, is 324. If the total weight is 480 kgs, weight of the boys is 324, then what is the weight of the girls? So the total weight of the 4 girls would be the remaining part. 480 kgs minus 324, that would be equal to 156. So the total weight of these 4 girls is 156 kg. So the sum of the weights is 156 kg. Sum divided by number of entries, that is 156 divided by 4, will give you the average weight, which is how much? This is equal to 3939 kg. This is a type of question that will be asked where they give you the average of the whole, they give you the average of a part, they'll give you the distribution, how many boys, how many girls, and then they will ask you the average of the remaining part. This is a very basic concept. They won't directly ask questions like this, but this will be like one of the parts they ask in an overall question. But you should know that whenever average of the whole is given, average of the part is asked, convert averages to sum. Sum is basically average into the number of entries is sum. Convert it into sum, remove the sum of the one of the constituents, you will get the sum of the other constituent, divide by number of entries, you will get the average of the other part. The other most common type of question that they ask is where they give you that, okay, there are 10 items. If I add one item to it, what would be the new average? Or if I remove one item from it, what would be the average? So suppose that there are 10 items and the average of these 10 items is 48 kgs. What would be the weight of the element that is added? That after adding one more element, the average increases by 1. Suppose this information is given to you. What is the old sum in this case? See, there were 10 items and for these 10 items, the average was 48. So what was the sum in this case? 48 into 10, so that is 480 kgs. So weight was 480 kgs. I don't know. So weight was 480 kgs when you had 10 items. You add one more item, now the average increases by 1. So now there are 11 elements and the new average is 1 more than 48, so it is 49. So what is the new average? What is the new sum of all elements? 11 into 49. What is 11 into 49? This would be, how much would be 11 into 49? This is 9. This is 13. 539. 539 would be the total of the new total as such. So if 539 is the new weight, 480 was the old weight, what is the weight of the new person that was added? That is 539 minus 480. So the new person who would be added would be 59 kgs. So what is happening over here? You are told that one person is added, the average is changing. By using the new average and the number of terms, you get the new total of weight. You consider the old average and the old number of terms, you get the old weight. New sum minus old sum, you get the weight of the element that is added. This is like the basic things, the fundamental things that are needed to calculate the higher, like the more difficult questions that are there in averages. Next, instead of adding, you can deduct. The same idea remains, where if you deduct, what will happen? You have the new average, but the new average will be for, instead of 10 people, you will have new average for 9 people. So suppose after removing one person, suppose the average decreases by 1. So now the new sum will be equal to how much? New sum will be equal to 9 into, it is now lesser by 1. So it will be 9 into 47. So how much is this 9 into 47? 360 plus 63. So that is 423. So the new weight is 423. The old weight was 480. If the old weight was 480, the new weight is 423. That basically meant that you removed somebody who was weighing 57 kgs. So you removed somebody weighing 57 kgs. The average went down because you removed one person who was heavier than the average. Remember, when you remove somebody who is heavier than the average will go down. If you remove somebody who is lighter than the average will go up. Here we removed somebody who was heavier than the average, so the average went down. Here we added somebody who was heavier than the average, so the average went up. That is also what you should remember, that even if you make a silly mistake, you should roughly know where the value should lie. Given the fact that the average is increasing, the value should lie above the average. Given the fact the value is decreasing and I am adding, the value should lie below the average. So this is roughly what you should be able to know. Generally, the most common is not addition or deletion. The most common is replacement. They replace one person with another. So suppose the old average of 10 items was 48. After replacing one person, the average changes by 1. So if the average changes by 1, the old weight was how much? It is 48 into 10. So it was, old weight was 480. Now again, after replacing one person, there are still 10 people. And the new average is increasing by 1, so it is 49. So now the new average is 49 into 10, so the new sum is 490. What does this tell you? The sum of weight went from 480 to 490, which means what? That the total weight increased by 10. So the new person who is coming in is 10 kgs heavier than the person who is leaving. So because I added the new person and removed the old person, this difference in weight is 10 kgs. That's why the total weight went up by 10 kgs. When you add, you can see how much the sum is going up. When you delete, you can see how much the sum is going down. When you replace, you get the difference in the weights of the people who came and who either left minus the ones who came, or vice versa. Basically, when you replace, you only get to know the difference rather than the absolute value of the person's weight. Okay? So these are the common type of questions that come in averages. These are the basic tools as such. Everybody with me so far? Yes, everybody was getting it. Very good job. Anybody who has any trouble with any of this? Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Is it going to be live arithmetic lecture or arithmetic test? I'm going to cover some of the basics of arithmetic. So it will be slides, some formulas, and then questions. So in this particular video, we'll have 15 slides which are like this, which are basically concepts, and we'll have 26 questions. Okay, so it's going to be test also. Okay guys, come on. Okay, let's go. Let's go to the second part. Okay, so this is a question, guys. I want all of you to solve it. I'll start the timer also. Okay, you guys have 2 minutes to solve it. Try to solve it. I'll go down also for the remaining part of the question. Okay, so this is the full question. I want all of you to solve it. Let me know in the chat box what you think is the answer. Come on, guys, you have 2 minutes. I want every one of you to answer. I want to know the answer in the chat box. I'll go to the side so that you can see it clearly. I'll go to that side. I'll give a shout out to the first 2 or 3 correct answers. Come on, guys. And the ones who are solving, guys, please like the stream. It helps us quite a bit, okay? Derek is asking, is it going to be beginner friendly? Yes, we are going to start from absolute basics. Simple questions also will be there. There will be some hard questions, but try to solve them. But we will walk you through everything, so you need not be worried if you are somebody who has just started. You will be like properly taken care through the entire this. And somebody else asked, how long is this stream? It will be around 4.5 hours. Try to be with me as long as possible. Me and Maruti both are going to be taking the stream, because in this 4 hours, we are going to cover 70% of arithmetic. So if you're worried about arithmetic, this is the one stream that will help you. Come on, guys. I want to know how many of you have gotten the answer. So Yasir says 6. Correct answer. Priyesh says 6. Correct answer. Leah is 6. Okay. Manhal, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Gauti Revant is also 6. Derek is answering 6. So a lot of you got it right. Yasir got it first. Priyesh also very well done. Leah also very well done. Revant, Derek, Gaurav, Aditya, very, very well done. Some of you made a mistake, but that's fine. There are some. This is basically the thing with arithmetic. The issue with arithmetic is that it is easy, but it is super easy also to make a silly mistake. So let's see how to solve this question. The class consists of 30 students. Each of them has registered for 5 courses. Each course instructor conducts an examination of 200 marks. So 5 courses, 200 marks. What is the total marks for each of these students? For each student, total marks will be 5 courses into 200 marks per course. So this is a total of 1000 marks. So for each student, they are scoring out of 1000. The average percentage marks of all 30 students across all courses they have registered for is 80%. So what is the total sum of all marks? Sum of marks would be, this is 80% of 1000 into 30. Each person is scoring 80% of 1000. So that is 800 marks. Into 30 is basically the sum of everyone's marks. So the sum of everyone's marks is how much? So everyone's marks will be, this is 800 into 30. So that would be 24,000. So this is the old sum of marks for all the 30 students. What is the sum of the marks of the 30 students? 24,000. Now what is given? 2 of them apply for re-evaluation in a course. If none of their marks reduce and the average of all 30 students across all courses becomes 80.02%, the maximum possible increase in marks for either of the 2 students is. So 2 people apply for re-evaluation and the new average becomes how much? The new average becomes 80.02%. So what is the new sum of marks? The new sum, this will be 80.02% into 1000 into 30. Sorry. Into 30. How much is this? This is, okay, sorry, 80. This also got erased. Okay, so this is basically 800,002. If I remove this, 800.2 into 30. 800.2 into 30, this would be 24,006. Okay, so the sum went from 24,000 to 24,006. Okay, and the 2 students, there are 2 students. So for these 2 students only the value would have increased because only these 2 students sent for reapplication. We have to find the maximum possible increase for either of the 2 students. So it is not needed that both of them have an increase. What we know is that none of their values decrease. So what would be the value? How can I distribute this 6 extra marks such that I maximize for at least one of them? So I can say that one of the persons got 0 marks, the other got 6 marks. A lot of you put in the answer 3. Why did you put in the answer 3? Because you thought that both of dono ka increase hua. But it is not needed that both got an increase. We have to maximize the possible increase in at least one of their marks. Maximum increase in either of the 2 students. This was the operational word. So for either of the 2 students, we have to maximize. So you can say it is okay, one got 0 increase, one got 6 increase, or one got 1 increase, one got 5 increase, 2, 4, 3, 3, 4, 2, etc. But what is the most max? If I have to maximize for one, just one, not 2. If I have to maximize for one, I'll say that give 0 increase to one and give 6 increase to the other. So the max increase in the marks of one of the students will be 6. A lot of you who made a mistake and said 3, the mistake you made was basically that you considered there has to be equality in increase. That is not a condition. Remember, either of the 2 students have to get an increase. Okay? Let's take another question. Okay? All of you, I want all of you prepared with pen and paper. I'm giving you another question. And go. The timer is again, I'm giving 2 minutes and I know that it's more than enough. So somebody is asking, ma'am, I often solve half the question, but then I get stuck and can't form the equation. What's going wrong? So don't worry. Over here, we'll tell you how to form the equations. See, learning how to form equations, basically it is a basic skill and you will learn it through solving a few questions. See, sometimes what will happen is that one type of equation is intuitive for you. For me, when it comes to time, speed, distance, when I'm considering speed or if I'm considering distance, it is very intuitive. But whenever things are in reciprocal, when I have to form equations with reciprocal, it is counterintuitive for me and I find it harder to do. But the only way to overcome that is to basically do a lot of it. So it becomes intuitive for you. So basically I would say that how do you overcome this? Practice a lot of questions till it becomes smooth for you, intuitive for you. I'm not telling which of the answers is whether they are correct or incorrect because I want to see your answers. Guys, read the question properly. There are 4 people who have put the answers, 4 different answers. Come on guys, you can do this. Okay, the time is up. Okay, very, very well done, Anuja, Shripada, Leah and Revant. I think Vinny, you also got the answer. I think you just missed writing it properly while putting in the answer. But I think you also got the answer because your answer, just the 3 is missing at the start. But very, very well done. Sonema, Shraddha, Vedantika, Vikas, all of you very well done. Congrats, you got it right. Okay, this is not an easy question. This is slightly moderate. Okay, between easy and moderate question. So let's see how to solve this one. Let 50 distinct positive integers be chosen such that the highest among them is 100 and the average of the largest 25 integers among them exceeds the average of the remaining integers by 50. Then the maximum possible value of all the 50 integers is what? So we have how many integers? We have 50 integers. Okay. This is the bottom half. This is the bottom 25. This is the top 25. Okay. Let's do one thing. To make our job easier, let's say, because we are trying to maximize, right? We are trying to maximize the sum. If I distribute the numbers, I'm not really going to help myself because again, it's averages. So if I say average is 25 is X, Average of this 25 is say x. Average of this 25 is say x plus 50. Okay. This is what I can infer based on the information given. Now this x plus 50, whether I consider numbers which are spread apart or if I consider numbers which are closer together, it doesn't matter. So let's make our life easier. Let's assume that all the numbers in the top 25 are contiguous, because we have to also maximize. If you want to maximize the sum, you should take the highest numbers that are there. So at least in the top end, it is very clear to me, because I have to maximize the sum, I should consider the top 25 numbers. What are the top 25 numbers? The top 25 numbers, it is given that the highest value is 100. If the highest value is 100, then what would be the 51st, the 26th value? If I consider these top 25 numbers, it will be from 76 to 100. These are the top 25 values. I am considering from 76 to 100 because I want to maximize the sum. If I didn't want to maximize the sum, I could have taken 60, I could have taken 50, I could have taken anything. But because I want to maximize the sum, I'll say that let me take the highest possible values. So I'm going to take the value 76 to 100. Now if I take the value 76 to 100, what is the average value? See, when you have values which are continuous numbers, consider 1, 2, 3 and so on till say 7. What is the average of these values? 4, 5, 6 and 7. So what is the average of these 7 continuous numbers? The average of these 7 continuous numbers is the middle value, which is 4. So the average of n continuous numbers when n is odd is the middle value. So in this case, we have 25 numbers. So what would be the middle value? That would be the 13th value as such. So this is 76th is the first value. 13th value is going to be plus 12. So the average of these 25 numbers is going to be 88. In general, when you have odd, it is just the middle number. Suppose if you have even, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. What is the average? It is the average of the middle two values. This is only true for the continuous, the consecutive values as such. So then the average is going to be 3.5 because it is the average of 3 and 4. So the average will be 3.5. In this case, we have 25 values. So that's an odd number. So we'll get the middle value. 88 is the average of the top 25 terms. Now what therefore will be the average of the bottom 25 terms? That would be 88 minus 50. So that will be 38. If 38 is the average, I'll consider all the elements are near 38. So what would be the values in that case? I again want to maximize. If I consider 38 as the value and if I unnecessarily make it spread out, again it won't make any difference because once you have average, you have the number of terms, it's easy to calculate the sum. So what would be the sum of the bottom 25 values? That would be 25 into 38. And what would be the average, what would be the total of the top 25 terms? That would be 25, that is the number of terms, into 88. Now it is not necessary that these values are continuous. It is not necessary. But once you have the average, it doesn't matter. You have the sum. So what would be the total sum in this case? 25 into 38 is how much? This is 2 into, so this I can take, this is 50. So this is 19 plus 44. So this is 50 times 16 is 63, right? So this is 50 times 63. How much is 50 times 63? 50 times 60 is 3000. 50 times 3 is 150. So the total will be 3150. Okay. So however you answer this, however you got this, whether you considered continuous values. So if this is 38, you could say that, okay, if this is 38, this is values 26 to 50 is 38 average. But whether you consider that or not, once you have the average, that is 38, and the number of terms, you have the sum. Once you have the average over here, 88, number of terms, you have the sum. Add them up together, you have the total sum, which is 3150. Anybody has any issue or difficulty with this particular question? Let me know. Can you repeat how 38 came? Did you understand how 88 came? 88 came because I considered what are the top 25 possible values. That is 76 to 88. Now 88 is the average. It's the middle term. So 88 is the average of 76 to 100. We are told that the average of the largest 25 integers exceeds the average of the remaining integers by 50. So top 25 average is 50 more than the bottom 25 average. So if top 25 average is 88, bottom 25 average will be 88 minus 50, which is 38. That's how I got 38. Okay, anybody has any other issue with that? I hope you followed it, Tanya. Okay. 63, 65, no, 63. 44 plus 19 is 63. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next question. Come on, guys. Again, this is a medium question, not a very difficult question. Come on, I want all of you to answer this one. Oh, I didn't put timer. Okay. I'm giving you slightly more time for this. This is 2.5 minutes. If we start with the number that is less than 76, will we get a incorrect answer? So you have to remember that the condition, the free condition is what part is free? See, once you fix the top 25, right, the bottom 25 is not anything that you can take. Otherwise, I would take 51 to 100 as the value. But if I say bottom 25 is 51 to 75, top 25 is 76 to 100, the difference in averages will not be 50. So once I decide, okay, top 25 is 76 to 100, then my bottom 25 I have to calculate. I cannot consider that the next number will be from 75 and so on, because then I will have to calculate what the average of the bottom part will be. Okay. 28. The options are there, Anuja. Try to see the options. Come on, guys, let's see who answers this first. Options are 50, 54, 57, 58. Come on, guys. You guys are making some mistake. These seem to be more advanced questions. Can we expect this in actual exam? See, this is a slightly harder question, so I gave it more marks. Basically, the first question was too easy. You wouldn't get that in CAT exam. This question, second question, third question, and the questions Maruti is going to do after me are going to be actual CAT level. So this is actual CAT level. Maruti is going to come and do something which is either CAT level or a harder CAT 2023 level as such. But we are going to focus only on CAT level questions, or slightly easier, but not much easier. So I've gotten a variety of answers. Come on, guys, 17 seconds left. I want more of you to solve. When I first solved this, even I made a mistake. I'll tell you what mistake I made, and I think many of you might have made the same mistake. I assumed that 70 marks was the highest. 70 is not the highest. Okay, it is just one of the entries is 70. Be careful of that. Okay, I think time is up. I got a lot of good correct answers also. The first person to give the correct answer was Rahul. Very well done. Then Janvi. Janvi, you also did very well. Mr. Vic also got 54. Very good. Vikas also got it. Revant also got it. Shripad also got it. Rashid, Avinash also got it. Gunjan got it. All of you are doing very well. This is slightly tricky. It's easy to make mistakes. See, these averages, ratio, proportion, all of these arithmetic questions are not harder. If I actually explain it to you, it will seem trivial. But what happens in these kind of questions is you are going to make mistakes, silly mistakes. So after I explain to you, you will, like somebody was asking, is this cat level? This seems harder. This is not harder. The issue is that people are going to make mistakes or silly mistakes in these kind of questions. So I don't want you guys to make silly mistakes. Be very, very attentive to small details in arithmetic questions. There is the scope for making mistakes. So let's see what the question is. The average marks of 6 students in a test are 64. All the students got different marks. One of the students obtained 70 marks and all other students scored 40 or above. The maximum possible difference between the second highest and the second lowest marks is. So we are told what is the average marks of 6 students? Average marks of 6 students is 64. So 64 into 6, what is the sum? The sum that we are looking for is 320 plus 20, 360 plus 24. This is 384. So 384 is our sum. This is how many students? This is 6 students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of them got 70. I don't know whether it's highest or lowest. I'll just put 70 over here, okay? So this guy got 70. I'm going to remove him from consideration. So I'm going to say that I'm going to look at only the remaining 5 people. And what would be the sum of this remaining 5 people? Overall sum is 384. This guy got 70. So the remaining sum is 384 minus 17, which is 314. I want to find out the difference between the second lowest and the second highest. So suppose this is the lowest, this is the second lowest, this is the middle, this is the second highest, and this is the highest. Okay, this is my gradation. Now how do I find out the lowest or second lowest? See, I want to find or maximize the difference. Suppose this is the sum and I want to maximize the difference. What will I do? I will try to make like the distance maximum by spreading it out as much as possible. So I will try to put the lowest values as low as possible. So here we are told the low values are 40 and 41. And the highest values, they have to be distinct numbers. So they got different numbers. So all of them have to be distinct values, where the bottom value will be 40 or above. So I'll say that let the lowest value be 40, 41, etc. And what are we told? Highest value, nothing has been told. So if I want to maximize the difference, I will put the lowest first, because the lowest I have some information about. So I will say that let this be 40, let this guy be 41, and let this guy be 42. Why 40, 41, 42? Because I want to maximize the values that I give for the remaining values. I want to maximize the highest and the second highest. So how do I do that? I give the least possible value to other 3. I give them very little so that I keep everything, the sum as much as possible to distribute between the 2 highest. So then if this is 40, this is 41, this is 42, what am I left with for the highest and second highest? What am I left with? So if I, from this 314, if I remove this, this is 40 plus 41 plus 42 is 123. I'm left with, this is 1, this is 191. So I'm left with 191 to distribute between the second highest and the highest. Should I give second highest 43? Should I give him the least value? No, because I want to maximize this difference, second highest and highest. So I should try to maximize how much second highest will get. But second highest at least has to get 1 less marks than highest. So whatever is the second highest marks will be 1 more at least. So if I say that second highest marks are x, highest marks will be x plus 1. So therefore this 191 will be 2x plus 1. So 191, if it is 2x plus 1, how much is this second highest value if I am splitting up equally between highest and second highest, such that the highest is just slightly more. So then this will be 95 and this will be 96. So what is the max possible difference between the second lowest and the second highest? 95 minus 41, which is option B, 54. Anybody has any issue with that? Anybody who didn't get that? The guys who got 28, okay? 95 and 96, correct. So the difference becomes 95 minus 41, which is 54. So the max possible difference between the second highest and the second lowest is 51. Okay, how do you start this? Consider how much money, like it's like basically saying that what is the money I have to distribute. So I removed this person, this 70% from consideration. I'm left with 314. Now this 314, how do I distribute? I give as little as possible to the bottom 3 because I want to maximize the difference. Then I'm left with 2 people. I try to maximize that difference by giving it almost equally. Then I get the max difference between the second highest and the second lowest. Okay, so now Maruti will be coming in and he'll be doing some of the other questions from averages.
I'll be doing just a couple of questions. After that, again, Sayali will come back. So let us look at the next question. So guys, I think many of you actually know this, but if you haven't followed our...
No, pen on this pen.
This is okay.
That works better.
That's fine. So guys, this is our Instagram page. If you have not followed us, I would request you to follow us. This is the page for our Instagram. It is Cracku exam on Instagram. If you have already followed us, please do let us know in the chat that you have followed us. If you haven't followed us, please do check us out. We have close to 45,000 people who follow us on Instagram, and it is a very good page. It will be useful for you. Let us look at the next question. This is the question. Let me start the timer. This seems like a long question, but I think you can get it correct. Let me look at the chat. I'll also see if my pen is working. There was some issue with the pen earlier. Yeah, I think it is working fine. Okay, can you repeat the last part, please, after 40-41? Okay, got it. Okay, many people are saying they got it. Ma'am, but out of okay. Concept cat के फॉर्म में फोटो अटैच नहीं हो रही है. हो जाएगा, वो इतना कुछ डिफिकल्ट नहीं है. Already followed, sir. Tricks and tracks. Hi, sir. Hi. Deviki Nana Rane saying, sir, I've just started my preparation and I have great difficulty in understanding the language of maths and how to begin solving a question. Any advice? If you are finding it difficult with the basics, what I would tell you to do is watch some of the videos on YouTube where we explain the previous year's papers. Now, even if you don't understand the solutions, I would definitely recommend you to watch the videos so that you at least know the type of questions that are asked and how we approach them. So for somebody who is just about starting their CAT preparation and have no idea and has no idea about any of these concepts, I would say the first thing to do is the CAT previous year's papers. If you don't know anything also, you can watch the video solutions. Many of the video solutions are there on YouTube. Just look at the video solutions so that you at least get a sense of what are the kind of questions that are asked and how we actually approach it. Many times when I explain the video solutions, before explaining the solution, I explain the concept which is needed to solve the solution. So I think that will be a good start for you. Sir, I have other batch, but going to buy Cracku mock test series, is this a good plan? I would say, Rishiraj, the more number of mocks you attempt, the better it is. From now till the actual examination, I want you to attempt at least one mock every weekend, which I think will be a good start for you. Leah is saying, sir, I can solve the questions without timer, but with timer, what can I do? Okay. Basically, I think with timer and without timer doesn't really matter. The thing is whether you're able to solve it or not is the most important thing as of now. I would say that once October or November comes, the timer and the speed aspect comes into play. But right now, you should be very happy if you're able to solve the questions correct, even if you're taking slightly more time. The only way in which you can... Let me know if there is any lag, guys. If there's a lag, I think there's no lag. I think it's okay. Okay. The way in which you can improve your speed is by solving a lot of questions. That I think you will do step by step. So don't worry about it. If you're able to solve the questions without timer, that also is fine. You are definitely on the right track. Just continue to solve more and more questions so that your speed will improve. Let us solve this question in the meantime. So what exactly is given? What exactly is given is that the average weight of a class of n students having distinct integral weights is 80. We don't know the number of students that are there. It is just mentioned to be equal to n. So the total weight of all the students initially will be equal to 80n. Now then one guy Rakshit left. We don't know the weight of Rakshit. Let the weight of Rakshit be equal to A. So then the total weight becomes 80n minus A because Rakshit has left. And then his another person joins. Her name is Raksha. Let the weight of Raksha be B. So after Raksha joins, the total weight of the class is 80n minus A plus B because Rakshit has left and Raksha has joined. Now the average weight of the class reduces by 2 kgs. Earlier the average weight is told to be 80 kgs. Now it reduced by 2 kgs. So the current average weight is 78. And what is the total number of students? The total number of students remains n. Because initially there were n students, Rakshit left and Raksha joined. So the total number of students did not change. This would imply that A minus B is equal to 2n. That is the difference in the weight of Rakshit minus the weight of Raksha, that difference is 2n. But what is n? We don't know n. What we know is that there are at least 6 students in the class. That is, the value of n is greater than or equal to 6. What can be the maximum weight of Raksha if the weight of the student who weighed the most before Raksha joined the class was 86 kgs? So what we are required to calculate is what is the value of B? What is the maximum value of B? B max is equal to what? So we are trying to maximize the weight of Raksha. What we are told is the student who weighed the most before Raksha joined is 86 kgs. So to know that, we need to know basically some value for A. That is, the value of B is equal to A minus 2n. If you are trying to maximize B, that is, if you are trying to maximize the weight of Raksha, we need to maximize the weight of A, which is the weight of Rakshit, and we need to minimize n. So basically, if you are trying to maximize B, A has to be maximized and n has to be minimized. Because the value of B is A minus n. What is the maximum value of the weight of Rakshit? The person who weighed the most was 86 kgs. This is the weight of the person who weighed the most. And there were at least 4 students who weighed heavier than Rakshit. So if you are trying to maximize Rakshit's weight, we will assume that the person who weighed most is 86. The second highest is 85, third highest is 84, fourth highest is 83, and finally we have Rakshit at 82. This is the maximum possible weight of Rakshit. Rakshit can definitely weigh less than this. But what we are saying is that Rakshit cannot weigh more than 82. Because all the weights of all the students are distinct integral values. All of them are integral weights. The heaviest guy weighed 86 and there were 4 guys who were heavier than Rakshit. So the maximum possible weight of Rakshit is 82 and the minimum possible value of n is 6 because we are told that there are at least 6 students in the class. Therefore, the maximum value of B will be equal to the maximum value of A, which is 82 minus 12, which is equal to 70. This is the answer. So the answer for this question is 70. Let me look at the chat. If there are no doubts, I'll proceed to the next question. Yeah, I think many people got 70 correct. Very well done, guys. Let us look at the next question. And let me start the timer. Naman Agarwal is saying, I made a mistake of considering the highest as 100 and second highest as 91 instead of 95, 96. Okay, I think he's talking about the earlier question. That I think is fine. Keertan Bansal is saying, can you please share the link for the live session? This is the link for the live session. Tarun Daga is saying, ek aur baar samjhayenge sir. Basically, what you have to remember in the earlier question is that the weight of Rakshit minus the weight of Raksha is equal to 2 times n. Once you understand this, what is needed is we need to maximize Raksha's weight. So if you are trying to maximize Raksha's weight, this is equal to Rakshit's weight minus 2n. You're trying to maximize Raksha's weight. So you're trying to maximize Rakshit's weights and minimize the value of n. Rakshit's maximum weight is 82. The minimum value of n is 6. So this is 12. 82 minus 12 is 70. This I think is a fairly straightforward and very easy question. I hope many people actually got it correct. I could see that many of you are actually giving the right answer. So very happy to see that. We have 155 people who are watching who have liked the stream. Please like the stream, guys. Rahul is saying, sir, I purchased Cracku mock. 1 mock per week is good till exam. I think that is fine, man. 1 mock and try to take a mock every weekend. I think that is a very good plan for you. Kirtan Mansal is saying, sir, can you please give some tips on how to increase speed in LR? What I would tell you is, in LR, there are 2 very good sources to practice from. One is the previous year's papers of CAT. So download the PDF of CAT previous year's papers of CAT 2024, CAT 2023, all of them, and try to solve at least 2 or 3 LRDIs every single day. If you have downloaded the PDF from Cracku, you can get the link to watch the video solution in the PDF itself. The second very good source for you to practice LRDIs is the Cracku daily targets. Cracku daily targets are taken by thousands of students every single day, and every single day we give you 1 LRDI. So over the course of time, you solve a wide variety of LRDIs. And again, Cracku daily targets also have video solutions. So you get to know how to solve that LRDI set very well. These 2 I think are very good sources. They will definitely improve your speed in LRDI. Okay, let us try to solve this question, guys. What is given in this question? What is told is that India played against England in a one-day international match of 50 overs and had a target of 340. So the target that has to be achieved is 340. Now the captain says that they will win the match if the required run rate for the last 10 overs is 12. So basically we are dividing this into 2 parts. We are dividing this into the first 40 overs. Let me erase this. We are dividing this into the first 40 overs and the last 10 overs. In the last 10 overs, the captain said that we will win the match if the required run rate in the last 10 overs is 12. If the required run rate in the last 10 overs is 12, the runs to be scored is 120. So if in the last 10 overs you have to score 120, what should be scored in the first 40 overs? In the first 40 overs, you have to score 220. Because the total target is 340. If you want to score 340, you are scoring 120 in the last 10 overs and 220 in the first 40 overs. What is the minimum run rate after 40 overs to win the match? So basically, what is the minimum run rate that you have to score? You have to score at least 220 runs in the first 40 overs. So the minimum run rate that is needed is 5.5, which is 220 divided by 40. This is a fairly simple, fairly straightforward question, but this will capture what is the essence of averages. So the answer for this question is 5.5. Let me look at the next slide. Okay, I think this is about ratios. This is the concept of ratios. I think Sayali will come and she will explain this. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. You can keep the same mic, no?
Okay. So guys, let's move on to the concept of ratio and proportions. We'll do the basics of what ratio and proportions are and the ratio properties. There are quite a few properties. We don't really need to know all of them because they are pretty self-evident as such. But let's quickly cover through what is ratio and proportions. So ratio is basically, it's a fraction. In the simplest term, what is a ratio? It's a fraction. So if I say that I am mixing water and milk in the ratio 1:2, it means that for every 1 part of water, there are 2 parts of milk. So basically, what is the ratio of water in the whole mixture that is formed? That would be 1 part out of 1 plus 2, that is 1/3. And how much would be milk then? That would be the remaining 2/3. So what is ratio? It's essentially a fraction. It is saying that 1/2 of the milk portion is the water portion. So when I say, okay, A is to B is 1:2, I am basically saying you can write, instead of A is to B is 1:2, I can write this as A by B is 1/2. Or I can say that let it be that B is equal to 2 times A. It's the same thing. So whatever is a ratio, it is nothing other than a fraction. Whenever you are treating ratios, treat them as fractions. That's all. But the thing with ratio is like in a fraction, there is only the top and bottom. There are only 2 things that are there in a normal ratio. In a fraction, you don't have like 3-way fraction, etc. But you can have 3 parts ratio, 4 parts ratio, 5 parts ratio, any n parts ratio. So how do you read something like that? See, when you read a ratio, you will say that, okay, for 1 part of A, there are 2 parts of B. Similarly, if I say that if the ratio is 1:2:3, how do you say this? By the way, this is called as a antecedent. This part, which is in the numerator, instead of calling it numerator for ratio, instead of calling it numerator, you call it antecedent, and you call it consequent, which is the bottom part. But doesn't matter. It is like remembering this is not needed at all, because it will not be asked in CAT. You can call it numerator, denominator also. It doesn't matter at all. But just for your sake, I'm telling you the term. But the point that I want you to know is that just a ratio, treat it like a fraction. But the only additional thing about a ratio is that it can have 2 parts, it can have 3 parts, it can have 4 parts, it can have 5 parts, n number of parts. So essentially, how do you read a ratio like that? So you will say that suppose this is the ratio of milk to water to, like, say, kerosene, whatever you are mixing. So what does this mean? That you take 1 part of milk. For every 1 part of milk, you take 2 parts of water. For every 2 parts of water, you take 3 parts of kerosene. So you can read this as 2 fractions. That milk by water is 1/2. Similarly, water by kerosene is how much? This is 2/3. And milk by kerosene will be how much? It will be 1/3. So you can convert this into fraction. But 1 ratio of 2 parts gives you 1 fraction here. 1 ratio of 3 parts will give you like 3 fractions. But nothing much as such. You can think of ratio as fraction itself, because most of the time the ratio that will come is a 2-part ratio. Even when they are asking you what is the ratio, you are just basically saying that if I were to make a fraction out of part A by part B, what would that fraction be? That's all you have to say. So what would be m:/n? If you are asked in the question, what is m:/n? You have to just basically say the ratio m/n. What fraction is that? M/n in its lowest form, what is that fraction? That is all you have to do. Okay, this is essentially the very basics of ratio. Now coming to the properties of ratio, there are multiple properties. I'll tell you what they are, but many of them are pretty simple and self-evident. Consider a fraction, okay, m/n. If I multiply m by a and n by a, do I change the fraction? No. The same is the case with a ratio also. If I multiply the numerator and denominator, the fraction doesn't change. Same way, if I multiply the consequent and the antecedent with the same number, it does not change the fraction. It does not change the ratio at all. Instead of saying ratio, I'm saying fraction because it is a fraction. That's it. Okay. So if I multiply and divide by the same number, it does not change the ratio. Now, if I add and subtract, what does it affect? How does it affect the ratio as such? This is true even if I divide, okay? By the way, if I say that m by a divided by n by a, still the ratio remains constant. It does not change the ratio at all. It will be equal. M by n will be equal to am by an will be equal to m by a divided by n by a. It does not change it. So basically, if you multiply and divide the antecedent and consequent by any constant, the other than that, the fraction or the ratio does not change. Now, how does it affect if you add or subtract? Consider the ratio if you have the ratio half. If I add 3 to the numerator and 3 to the denominator, how does it change this ratio? So this will become 1 plus 3 and this will become 2 plus 3. Sorry about this. So this will become 4 by 5. Half is around 50%. 4 by 5 is 80%. So has our ratio increased or decreased? Our ratio has increased, which means that if I add and subtract, so if I add numerator and denominator in a ratio, and if the ratio is a proper fraction, meaning the denominator is greater than the numerator, the ratio increases in value, the fraction increases in value, okay? If I subtract, if it's a proper fraction, suppose if it is 3 by 4, and I subtract 1 from numerator and denominator, what do I get? I get 2 by 3. 3 by 4 is 75%, 2 by 3 66.67%. So is my fraction or ratio decreasing or increasing? If I subtract and it was a proper ratio, it will decrease. So if I add, if I have a proper ratio where denominator is greater than the numerator, that is the consequent is greater than the denominator is greater than the numerator, if I add a value, what will happen? Its value will go up. If I subtract a value, its value will go down. That's all you have to remember, that when it is a proper fraction, when you add a value to numerator and denominator, the value goes up. If it is an improper fraction, the ulta thing happens. What is the exact opposite will happen? So if you have 4 by 3, okay? If you have 4 by 3, if I add to numerator and denominator, I get 5 by 4. 4 by 3 is 1.333. 5 by 4 is how much? 1.25. So this is actually going down. So when you have an improper fraction and you add to the numerator and denominator, adding, the value goes down. When it is an improper fraction and I say deduct, okay, remove. 4 by 3, suppose if I remove 1, okay, this will become 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is 1.5, this is 1.33. It will actually go up. So you can see it in this way, okay. If you can see a number line, in a number line, you can say that this is the number line and this is say 1, okay, this is 0. If your fraction is more than 1, okay, if your fraction is more than 1, adding will reduce the fraction. Subtracting values will increase the fraction. But if your fraction is less than 1, that is numerator is less than denominator, adding will increase the value. Subtracting will decrease the value. Why should you know this? Why is it important? Sometimes it is important in figuring out what the ranges can be. It is sometimes important in figuring out what the values, potential values can be. If I am telling you that the ratio say goes down, if I remove some equal parts of x and y and the ratio goes down or ratio goes up, it can tell you basically whether it was a proper fraction or an improper fraction. So by that you can also figure out, okay, what can be the potential answers. You can eliminate options by using that. So that's why this is important to know that when a particular ratio is less than 1, a is less than b, a is to b, where a is less than b, if I add x to numerator and denominator, a plus x divided by b plus x, the ratio will increase. On the other hand, if I do a minus x and b minus x, the ratio will decrease. If a is greater than b, that is the numerator is greater than denominator, a plus x divided by b plus x, the value will go down. If I have a minus x divided by b minus x, the value will go up. So always remember this side of 1, adding increases, subtracting decreases, which is what you expect. That side of 1, adding decreases, subtracting increases, which is like the inverse of what you expect. Now we come to the basic ideas of invertendo, dividendo, all of these things. Where do you use this? If you have never heard of this, don't worry, it is not super important, but you would have used it without knowing all of these names. Like without knowing alternando, dividendo and componendo, dividendo, etc. You would have definitely used it. So where is this used and what is it essentially? So invertendo is simple. Consider A by B is say C by D. So what does invertendo mean? It means that you can invert this ratio. So if A by B is equal to C by D, you can say that B by A is equal to D by C. This comes from basic fractions, right? You invert the fraction, invert of one side of the fraction, you invert the other side of the fraction. Simple. There is nothing really new to it. But if I say invert endo, half of you will be like, what is that? I've never heard of it. But it is a simple basic, you're inverting the fraction. Now what is alternando? Alternando also sounds like such a fancy concept. It is nothing. You bring C over here in the denominator, you bring B over there to the numerator. So you can say that A by C is equal to B by D. How do you get this? You cross multiply, you can say that AD is equal to BC. So if you know that AD is equal to BC, you can change the what is there in the numerator and the denominator. You can interchange what is there in the numerator and denominator. So if A by B is C by D, then A by C is equal to B by D. Instead of taking B in the denominator, I take C in the denominator, I get what is called as alternando. But essentially it's just swapping the denominator of one with the numerator of the other sides. That's all it is. Componendo. Componendo is slightly different. Okay, sometimes some people will understand it quickly, sometimes some people will not get it. So I'll tell you in its basic form what is alternando. If you are say A by B is equal to C by D, add 1 to both sides. 1 plus A by B is C plus D by 1. I've added 1 to both sides. Now take this, cross multiply, take it in the numerator. So what can you say? A plus B by B is C plus D by D. This is just componendo. That's it. There's nothing really to it. This is componendo. Okay. Similarly, what is dividendo? Instead of adding 1, subtract 1. That's it. So you will say A by B minus 1 is C by D minus 1. Take A by B minus, so you will say this is A minus B by B is C minus D by D. That's it. This is dividendo. This is componendo. This is dividendo. Where is this useful? Where does it come in? Where does it help you? This comes in very useful in whenever ratios or fractions are given of algebraic quantities. So when you have algebraic identities like this, you can use this to cancel off some common terms. So if you have like say x square in numerator and denominator, you can use this to like cancel off x square in one of the places. So if I cancel off in one of the places, then I'll at least simplify the equation. That's where componendo dividendo comes in helpful. Now I have this equation, say this is equation 1, this is equation 2. If I divide equation 1 with equation 2, what do I get? I get my componendo dividendo. What is componendo dividendo? A plus B divided by A minus B. This is equal to C plus D divided by C minus D. That's all that is there. What is componendo? What is dividendo? This is basically adding 1. This is subtracting 1. If I divide this equation by this equation, I get componendo dividendo. Remember these basic ratio and proportion or fractions like interchangeability and these operations, because they can help you quite a bit when you are dealing with algebraic identities. Why is this in algebraic identities? Say for example, if you have something like x square minus 4x and x square plus 5x, okay, you can say this is say m by n, okay. One thing that you can do is you can cross multiply and you can do something with that, or you can do a basic componendo dividendo, or you can do just part of it. You can just do dividendo to reduce one of the values. You can reduce one x square from at least numerator or denominator. So if I do a dividendo, x square will cancel. I'll get minus 9x divided by x square plus 5x, and I'll get this is m minus n by n. So by doing that, what am I doing? At least in numerator, I am removing the x square term. So from that, I am reducing the complexity of the algebraic equation. That is basically where most of these ratio and proportion rules come in very handy. Let's go to the next concept. I'll briefly go through the concept that is of like, this is basically if you have proportion where multiple terms are given. This can come in when you have a, like if you have 3-4 ratios given, sometimes directly a result might be asked, okay. So they might give you that this, so give the value of like some particular combination of these terms. The thing that you have to remember is that as long as the ratio is equal, right, like this, you can just say that everything, any combination of those ratios will be equal to the same ratio. How is that? See, basically say that A by B is equal to say C by D. is equal to say E by F. Say this is equal to K. So you can say that A is BK, C is DK, E is F times K. Okay? So I will say that if I am taking the sum of A plus B plus C plus E, A, C, E. If I am taking the sum of A, C, E, what do I get? I will say this is A plus C plus E. If I take this divided by B plus, I'm not looking, B plus D plus F. I can replace ACE by A, I can replace by BK, C I can replace by DK, E I can replace by FK. So I'll get that I can take K in common and I'll get this is B plus D plus E divided by B plus D plus E. So this cancels off and I get this is also equal to K. This is also equal to the same ratio as such. This same ratio I can see if I add up all the numerators and add up all the denominators, I get the same ratio. If I multiply the ratio, if I multiply this by say P, this by Q, this by R, and then take the sum, still the same ratio, it will still be equal to K. Because what will happen is that each time whenever I'm taking that kind of a ratio, it will just cancel each other off. Like the numerator and denominator will cancel each other off and will be left with K each single time. So whenever any such configuration is given where you have the sum of numerators divided by sum of denominators, and you are asked what is the value of this, it will generally be the ratio itself. Suppose I have it raised to n, okay? Here you have PA raised to n, Q raised to C raised to n, and so on. See, if I have A by B is equal to C by D is equal to E by F. If I square it, it will be equal still. So A square by B square will be equal to C square by D square will be equal to E square by H square. A raised to n by B raised to n, C raised to n by D raised to n, E raised to n by F raised to n. It will, all of them will be equal and they will be together equal to like K square, or if it is n, it will be K raised to n. That's all that you will get. So if you have a equation like this, you have say instead of 2 you have n over here. So what will you say? A raised to n by B raised to n will be equal to C raised to n by D raised to n, and so on till you have this is equal to K raised to n. I will multiply this by some constant P, Q, and again I take the sum. So again I will get this entire sum will be equal to K raised to n. I take K raised to n raised to 1 by n, I get the same ratio K. So again all of these, like this A, if A is equal, A by B is equal to C by D is equal to E by F, it is equal to the sum of the numerators divided by the sum of the denominators. It is equal to a weighted sum of the numerators divided by a weighted sum of the denominators. It is equal to a weighted sum of each individual parts raised to n divided by the weighted sum of each denominator raised to n, the whole raised to 1 by n. Because if I just take this without this part, 1 by n, this will be basically raised to this part. This part over here is K raised to n. So K raised to n raised to 1 by n, I am taking the n square root, I get K again, which is equal to my original ratio. Okay. The last part I'll quickly go through and then we will go to the ratio questions as such. I won't spend too much this unnecessarily. See, these are terms that I'll quickly cover, but I'll give you a basic idea that this has never been asked in CAT. It has been asked in ZAT, but this concept has never been asked in CAT. But I'll still tell you what each term refers. Duplicate ratio is basically if A by B is my ratio, then the duplicate ratio of A by B is A square by B square. What is triplicate ratio? You don't triplicate ratio, you don't multiply by 3, you cube. So this triplicate ratio will be A cube by B cube. What is subduplicate ratio? Think of it. What would subduplicate ratio be? It means by raising the ratio to half. So this would be root of A by root of B. This is the subduplicate ratio. Subtriplicate ratio, that is cube root of A divided by cube root of B. To be honest, this is never asked in CAT, at least I don't remember any time, even a single time any of these has been asked. but duplicate ratio has been asked in that. So to that end, I am covering it. But this part, this concept, just remember what duplicate ratio is, triplicate ratio is. Sometimes people might think that duplicate ratio would be doubling the ratio. But you know that doubling the numerator and denominator makes no change to the ratio. So always remember, duplicating or triplicating will have to do with something raised to, like raising it to a power rather than multiplying it with a constant. So this is the idea of concept of duplicate and triplicate ratio. We have covered the concepts of ratio and proportion. So what I want you to do is I want you to try out a simple question from it. Okay, so try to solve this question. This is a pretty simple question, and I want to see who answers this first. When will the algebra and geometry marathon be? Don't worry, we are going to take a marathon almost every Saturday, Sunday. So everything will be covered. Don't need to worry about it. We will cover another arithmetic, then algebra, then geometry. It will be done before August is over. Okay. Please explain the number line part again. Okay. I think this is something which is not very intuitive to people. This is your 0. Okay. This is your 1. Okay. This is A by B. Say A by B is less than 1. That means A is less than B, right? Then your ratio lies somewhere over here, less than B. When your ratio is less than 1, right? When you add a constant to the numerator and denominator, the tendency is that the ratio tends to 1. Why is that the case? See, if I consider A plus X divided by B plus X. As X increases, what is going to happen as X increases? Like say I add 1000, I add 10,000. So it will be 1003 divided by 1004. If I say start with 3 by 4 and then I get to 1003 and 1004, it is tending towards 1. So when I am less than 1, it is tending towards 1 when I add. So it is increasing. But on the other hand, if it is greater than 1 already, suppose it is 4 by 3. Again I add 1000 to the numerator, 1000 to the denominator. Again it will tend towards 1. So again it will come towards here because this will be 1004 by 1003. It is tending towards 1. As I keep adding, what is going to happen? As I add to the numerator and denominator, wherever the terms are originally, they are going to come towards 1. So if it is less than 1, it is going to increase. If it is greater than 1, it is going to decrease. Because I add to the numerator and denominator, the fraction converges towards 1. Because if suppose X becomes like 10,000, 1 million, it will be roughly 1,000,004 or 1,000,003 divided by 1,000,004. Or 1,000,004 divided by 1,000,003. It's nearly 1, right? So basically when I add to the numerator and denominator, the fraction tends to 1. It goes closer to 1. So if it is less than 1, it increases. If it is greater than 1, it decreases. On the other hand, when I deduct from numerator and denominator, I go away from 1. I'm basically removing something and I'm pushing it away from 1. So if the fraction was already less than 1, it becomes even lesser. If it was greater than 1 and I'm pushing it away from 1, I'm tending that side. I'm actually increasing the fraction by doing that. Okay. I didn't put the timer. Ayo. Okay. Let me know if you guys were able to answer this one. Okay, many of you have already answered, I think, because I took too much time to answer this one. So we'll start with, I didn't put the timer at the start. But many of you have gotten it right. A lot of you have gotten it right. So very well done. I'm very happy. Vikas, you got it first. 12 is the answer. Then Fallen has answered. Nitin has answered. Shripada has answered. Vibhuti has answered. Anuja has answered. Venkatasai has answered. Dogesh has answered. Everybody has answered. So very, very happy. This is an easy question. So we start off with an easy question and we slowly take you more and more, slightly steeper and steeper questions. Okay. So let's see how to solve this particular question. In a mixture of 60 liters volume, the ratio of milk and water is 2:3. How much water needs to be added so that the ratio becomes 1:2? How do you deal with such questions? I don't like treating with ratios. I don't like fractions. Whenever actual absolute volume is given, why not split it? So if I have 60 liters total volume, okay, and this is the mixture volume, okay, and the mixture has what? It has milk and it has water. There is 2 parts of milk for 3 parts of water. So together how many parts are there? 2 plus 3, there are total 5 parts. This 5 parts corresponds to how much? This 5 parts corresponds to this 60 liters. So if 5 parts is 60 liters, then 1 part is how much? 1 part therefore will be 12 liters. So 2 parts will be 24 liters milk and 3 parts will be 36 liters milk. So you have 24 liters milk and you have 36 liters milk. 36 liters water. You want to add water such that the new ratio becomes 1:2. So that means for 1 part of milk, there should be 2 parts of water. That is, whatever is the value of milk, the value of water should be double. There is 24 liters of milk. No milk, extra milk is being added. So 24 liters will remain 24 liters. So water has to become double of the milk, which means that 24 times 2. So water now, we need how much water? We need 48 liters of water, of which 36 liters is already there. So how much additional water is needed? 48 minus 36, the additional amount of water that is needed is option D, 12 liters. So we need to add 12 liters such that the ratio of milk to water becomes 1:2. Always remember, in this, the amount of milk is remaining unchanged. The amount of water is changing. So whenever you are comparing, okay, old ratio, new ratio, when you are considering what should be the new value or the new volume, consider the value which is remaining unchanged. Old configuration 60 liters, 2 parts, 24 liters of milk is there. In the old mixture as well as the new mixture, milk is not being added. So in the old mixture also you have 24 liters, in the new mixture also you have 24 liters. Earlier the ratio was 2:3. So this 24 liters was with 36 liters of water. Now the ratio is 1:2. So now this 24 liters has to be with 2 times 24, that is 48 liters. So 36 liters of water has to become 48 liters. You need an additional 12 liters. Okay, I think a very simple question. Everybody understood this. I'm sure not a question that people would struggle with. Sir, can you include arithmetic algebra test? I saw it, I know that you want those custom tests. We'll try to put it. It's a tech functionality. I'll try to put it. I know that it would help. Even I feel sometimes that I just want to solve like all arithmetic or all algebra tests. I will try to put it, but give us some time to do it. I know that you want it. I also think that there's value in it, but give us some time to add that tech functionality. Okay, I will give you another question. Come on guys, this will be slightly harder than the older one, the first one, but not much harder. Come on guys, you can do this. Anuj is right out of the gate with 40. Let's see. I don't know whether it is correct or not. Let's see. A 40. Anuja, incredible speed, man. Very, very well done. I couldn't believe you got it so fast. Very, very well done, Anuja. And Nitin also very well done. Leah, Vikas, Vibhuti, all of you guys, very, very well done. Rakshit, Sonima, Pratham, all of you guys, you're doing extremely well. All of you got it, I think. Almost everyone got it. X is equal to 2A. Everyone almost got it. Very, very well done. Not a hard question, right? Not a difficult question. Timer is still going on, but the question, I think most of you have gotten the answer. So let's get started. Anybody wants me to wait? Anybody still attempting? I'll wait. Otherwise, I think this is ratio se bahut dar lagta hai. Why? This is so easy. Come on, guys. This is easy. See, basically don't think of it as ratio. I don't think of it as ratio because why put an extra concept? We already have one concept of fraction. No, it is fraction. I just think of it as fractions. Then it becomes simple. It's the fraction. That's it. So Pratik, Ramesh and Qureshi went to buy some bananas from a supermarket. They bought the bananas in the ratio 7:5:8. Qureshi later realized that he won't be able to eat them all. So he gave 3 bananas to Ramesh. After that, the number of bananas with Ramesh and Qureshi became equal. How many bananas do all three of them did all three of them buy together? Now in this, we have Pratik, Ramesh and Qureshi. But most of the question gives us information about which fraction, which part of the ratio. Only Ramesh and Qureshi. Because Qureshi gives some bananas to Ramesh and then their value becomes equal. So let's do one thing. Let's say that we take some constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality means what? We assume some variable so that we convert this ratio into an absolute value. So let's say that the constant of proportionality is say x. So that will mean that Pratik has x times 7, that is 7x bananas. Ramesh has 5 times x, that is 5x bananas. And Qureshi has 8 times x, that is 8x bananas. What is in the information that is given to us? Qureshi takes 3 of his bananas and gives it to Ramesh. So after the transfer, how much bananas does Ramesh have? He gets 3 bananas. So his bananas becomes 5x plus 3. Qureshi's bananas becomes 8x minus 3. And we are told this is equal. So if 5x plus 3 is equal to 8x minus 3, so we can say take 5x this side, minus 3 this side, 6 is equal to 3x or x is equal to 2. Okay, if x is equal to 2, how many bananas did they buy initially? They bought a total of 7x, 5x plus 8x. This is 20x bananas. X is equal to 2, which means that I multiply 20 by 2, I get that they bought 40 bananas. So how many bananas did they buy? They bought 40 bananas, which is option A. Pretty simple question, not difficult question. If you just look at the fact that there is a triple ratio, 7:5:8, you might get worried or afraid. But don't, just convert the ratio to like assume some variable, convert it to absolute values, do your operations, get the answer, get the final answer. Just convert. I always feel that ratios are inconvenient. Convert ratios to fractions, convert ratios to absolute values, do all of the operations that you want so that you don't have to deal with fractions, you don't have to deal with ratios as such. The ratios itself, I feel, is like, it's just the way information is introduced or asked for. It's not the way in which you actually do anything. Okay, you actually do all your operations in your either assumed variables or absolute values, or you do it as a fraction. So you can think of it as like ratio is just an introduction format. After that, जो solve करना है वो ratio से नहीं करना है. Okay. So now that we know, I'll give another question. So let's try to solve that one also. Come on, guys. I want all of you to solve. Okay. So we are starting the Sankalp batch. It starts tomorrow. So all of you guys who are looking for a way to prepare for CAT and who have not started the CAT preparation, if you are worried, okay, how do I actually prepare for CAT? There's not that much time left for CAT. Do check out our batch. And we will, so the sprint batch is starting tomorrow, not Sankalp. Sprint batch starts tomorrow and we will be giving you day-wise schedule. We'll tell you exactly what to prepare for every single day. We'll tell you that, okay, see this concept video, take this concept test. There'll be weekly revision, there'll be one-on-one mentorship, there'll be daily live classes every single day from 8 to 9 p.m. We have live classes and you have like access to all the resources that you need to crack CAT. So do check out our sprint batch. It starts tomorrow. So I think it is Maruti and he'll be giving you some harder questions in ratio and proportion. I hope that none of you get scared by it and you guys are prepared for it. Come on.
Okay guys, let us go to the next question. Again, I'll be looking at only a couple of questions before Sayali will again come back. But this is the next question. Both the questions that I'll be solving are actually fairly simple and straightforward. So try to solve it. I think you have around 2.5 minutes. You should be able to get it correct. If you have any doubts with respect to your CAT preparation, you can ask in the chat. Guys, please do like the stream. I'm looking for 350 likes. If anybody can give the explanation in the chat, that will be even good. I think many people are actually getting the correct answer, but if you can give a quick way of explaining it, that will be even better. These are the kind of questions which I would call as sitters, where you should try to get this question correct within, like, say 90 seconds, so that you can save time in the examination. This is a fairly simple, fairly straightforward question, which I hope many people actually get it correct. Pratik Purohit is saying, sir, how to not miss sitters in the examination? I think basically when you solve a lot of questions, you get a sense of whether a question is a sitter or not. Another way I would tell you is the sitter also, the length of the question should not be too long. So those are kind of ways in which you can identify sitters. Many times sitters come in arithmetic, sometimes they come in number systems. Yasir Arafat is saying, sir, I'm solving 20 to 30 questions every day, but still could not increase my speed. I think if you are solving 20 to 30 questions, and if you are solving 20 to 30 questions in the important topics, that is arithmetic, algebra and geometry, your speed will inevitably increase. You are doing the right things, just ensure that you are continuing doing it, and you are solving from the right topics, that is arithmetic, algebra and geometry. If you are solving, say, 10 questions each from each one of these three topics, it is inevitable that within a month or 45 days, your speed will increase pretty well and pretty significantly. You will be able to sense that your speed has increased. Okay, the time is up. Let us try to solve this question. In a room, there are n persons. Okay, there are n persons whose average height is 160 centimeters. So let me clear this. So currently there are n people and their average height is 160 centimeters. And after this, m more people joined whose average height is 172. So to this, we have m people who joined whose height is 172. When both of them are mixed, the average height becomes 164. So this is the average height of all of them together. Now in this situation, we can use something called allegations. Allegations will tell us to quickly calculate the ratio in which two quantities are mixed. What exactly and how exactly does allegations work? In this particular case, one quantity has 160 as the average height, one quantity has 172 as the average height. Both of them are mixed and the mixer has 164 as the average height. So to get the ratio of n is to m, what we do is we first subtract from 164 160. What is 164 minus 160? 164 minus 160 is equal to 4. This 4 we write over here beside m. What is 172 minus 164? 172 minus 164 is 8. And this 8 we write beside n. So the ratio of n is to m is 8 is to 4, which is equal to 2 is to 1. But what we are asked to calculate is the ratio of m is to n. You should be careful and you should ensure that these kind of mistakes you are not going to make. The ratio of n is to m is 2 is to 1. So the ratio of m is to n will be the exact opposite, which will be 1 is to 2. So the answer for this question is option C. This is a fairly simple, like I mentioned earlier, a sitter kind of a question, which I hope many people actually got correct. Let me look at the chat and after that we'll go to the next question. I think everybody got it correct. See, some people are mentioning it as 2 is to 1. Many people are mentioning 2 is to 1. So you should remember that this is the kind of mistake you should not make. Here we are asked not n is to m but m is to n. So n is to m is 2 is to 1. That I get it. But m is to n is the inverse ratio. So ensure that if it is a sitter question like this, you're actually not making a mistake. This is the next question. Let us see how many people get it correct. Ashwin Saji is saying, sir, I'm trying to start CAT preparation from today. Is it possible? I have a work experience of 2 years. Did BTech in mechanical. What is the best method I should follow in this limited time? My VRC and Quant is good. I think if you're just starting your CAT preparation, the first thing I would request you to do is take a CAT mock. If you're enrolled to the Cracku mocks, take any dash CAT from dash CAT 1 to dash CAT 5. They're taken by thousands of students, so you get a real picture in front of you. You will know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. You will also know where you're struggling. You'll get a rough sense. If you don't get that sense, take a mock again the next day. Take 2 or 3 mocks so that you have an idea of where you actually stand, what are your relative areas of strength, what are your relative areas of weakness. Then figure out what are the important topics. In verbal, quant, LRDI, you should get a sense of what are the kind of questions that are asked. Once that is done, then focus on improving your concepts, finishing the syllabus pretty quickly, and then start solving as many questions as you can. Those, I think, are the step-by-step ways in which you can progress. Many people got it correct. Some people are saying it is 3, some people are saying it is 4. Let us see, guys. రఘు గేమింగ్ సార్ మీరు తెలుగులో చెప్తారా కోచింగ్లో? నేను తెలుగులో చెప్పను అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ, ఎందుకంటే చూసేవాళ్ళు చాలామంది ఎయిదర్ సౌత్ ఇండియా నుంచి ఉంటారు లేకపోతే నార్త్ ఇండియా నుంచి ఉంటారు. తెలుగు స్టేట్స్లో ఉండేవాళ్ళు తక్కువే. సో మా కోచింగ్ విల్ బి మోస్ట్లీ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్, సమ్టైమ్స్ ఇట్ విల్ బి ఇన్ హిందీ. బట్ తెలుగులో అన్ఫార్చునేట్లీ మేము ఎక్కువగా చెప్పం, ఎందుకంటే తెలుగులో చెప్పానంటే మిగతా వాళ్ళు ఎవరికి అర్థం కాదు, ఓన్లీ తెలుగు స్టేట్స్ వాళ్ళకి అర్థం అవుతుంది. Okay, like I think half the people are saying it is option D, half the people are saying it is option C, some people are saying it is option A. So let us see, guys. How many people have taken dash cats or at least the Cracku free notes? Let me know. How many people have taken dash cat? Or let me know how many dash cats you have taken. You can message in the chat how many dash cats you have taken. If anybody has taken more than 5 dash cats, I'll probably give them a shout out. Advika Agarwal is saying, sir, dash cat 8, your opinion, LOD, good score, etc. I think dash cat 8 is not a very difficult dash cat. I think dash cat 8 is very similar to cat 2024. I've taken the verbal and LRDI sections of dash cat 8. I think both of them are pretty good. Even quant, which I actually said, I know that quant I think is slightly on the more difficult side, but I think verbal and LRDI are definitely on the easier side. Overall, I would say if you're aiming for, I think I already recorded the mock analysis. I don't remember exactly what I said as to the 99 percentile score, but I would say any score above 70 is a good score in dash cat 8. Any score above 90, I think will be on the range of 99 percentile in the actual examination. Okay, let us try to answer this question, guys. Ashok started a business with a certain investment. So let us assume that the investment of Ashok is say I, and Bharat joined him after a few months, investing half the amount of Ashok. So what is the amount invested by Bharat? Bharat would have invested I by 2 because his investment is half of Ashok's. At the end of the first year, the total profit was divided between them in the ratio of 3:1. So Ashok invested for the entire duration of the year, which is 12 months. Bharat invested only for some time. Let us assume that he invested for M months. So the ratio of the profit should be the investment of Ashok into the time duration for which Ashok invested, which is 12 months, divided by the investment of Bharat, which is I by 2, into the time duration for which he invested. This ratio, we are told, is the ratio in which the profits have to be divided, which is given to us. This is 3:1. So this is equal to 3 by 1. So if you simplify this, this is 24 divided by m, because we can cancel I and I, and this 2 will come to the numerator. 24 by m is equal to 3 by 1. Basically, that is 3. Or the value of m, which is the total number of months Bharat invested, is equal to 24 by 3, which is equal to 8 months. This is the time duration for which Bharat invested. So Bharat joined Ashok after how many months? Bharat invested for 8 months. Ashok invested for 12 months. So Bharat joined Ashok after 4 months. So the correct answer is option C. Let us look at the next question, guys. I think next again there will be a concept. Let me see. This is the concept of mixtures and allegations, which is what we used in the earlier question.
Okay. So, firstly, shout out to all those who have taken more than 5 mocks. Yasir and Pratik, Vibhuti, all those who have done so many dash cats, very well done. For all of those guys who have taken more than 5 mocks, very well done. Those who have not taken as many. So Rashid has taken 7, Sampana has taken, Nag has taken 8. All of you guys have done very, very well. Okay. Then you have, I think, many of you guys have taken at least, I think, 2, 3. But the guys who haven't taken at least 5 mocks yet, please start taking mocks according to schedule, because I think otherwise you will fall behind in the mock preparation and mock strategy as such. You should take all the 20 mocks plus the 5 head start mocks, that's 25, plus all the previous year's papers as mocks, plus all 15 mocks sectionals as such. So that's like over 50 plus mocks and sectionals are there right there. So for you to actually do that, you need to like be consistent with your mock taking. So make sure that you start taking at least every other Sunday. You start taking from now on. If you do that regularly, you will make sure that you have the adequate amount of exposure before CAT. So Nima had asked that, ma'am, I'm solving 50 questions daily. I'm still not getting more than 10 to 12 questions with 70-80% accuracy. So Nima, if your accuracy is 70-80%, that's a bit of a worry, because you should know the concept. You should know how to quickly and correctly solve it. If you're solving the question, you should get it right. So it should be above 90% as such. So if your accuracy is 70-80%, see why it is so. Is it because of a concept gap? I'm suspecting it is mostly due to silly mistakes or mistakes in calculations, where you're making either mental maths errors or something like that. So if that is the case, then I want you to focus on that area, take more time per question, but that accuracy has to increase. See, if you're doing like say 10 questions, if you do all 10 questions correctly, then you will get 30, which is like 99 percentile right there. If you do 10 questions and only 7 of them are correct, then it's much lower. It's like 21 minus like some negative marks from incorrect questions. So that should always be your endeavor, that your accuracy should be as high as possible. If you're solving a quant question, you're getting it right. Out of 10 max, 1 question should be wrong, not more than that. So first fix the accuracy, that is more worrying. Okay. So we'll continue with mixtures and this, I think Maruti took the pen with him. 1 second. Just get the pen. Okay. Okay. So mixtures and allegations. So if you are mixing 2 items in a particular ratio, so if you are say mixing like say we had done milk and water, etc. So how do you find out what is the overall value of the end mixture? What would be the total this? Suppose you have say rice, okay? You have rice which is of say 100 rupees per, okay, sorry about this. You have rice of 100 rupees per, you have rice of 100 rupees per kg, you have rice of like second rice B of like say 150 rupees per kg, and you are mixing it in the ratio say 2:3. Okay. So what would be the price or what would be the cost of this mixture if you are mixing it in the ratio 2:3? You're saying you're taking 2 parts of this, you're taking 3 parts of this. So instead of taking 2 parts and 3 parts, let's say kg. You're taking 2 kgs of rice, which is 100 rupees per kg. How much would that be? The cost would be 2 into 100, that is 200 rupees. Similarly, you're taking 3 kgs of rice, which is 150 rupees per kg. What would be that cost? 3 into 150, that is 450. So this together would be how much? 200 plus 450, that is 650. But 650, am I getting 1 kg then of mixture? No, it is 2 kgs plus 3 kgs. So I am getting 5 kgs of mixture in that particular for 650. So 650 is 5 kg. So 1 kg is how much? That would be 650 by 5. So that would be 130 rupees per kg. This is the normal way of solving, where you assume some value, multiply weight divided by weight, this weight into this value, this weight into this value divided by the sum of weights. This will give you the final value. This is basically like weighted average. When you're doing mixtures, you're taking the weighted average. Now this is very easy to do. When the individual weights are given, the values are given, and then we have to calculate the weighted average, it is very easy. But suppose the end value is given, the mixture, this 130 is given, this 100 is given, this 150 is given, and you have to figure out the weights in which they are mixed. This ratio is requested. Then the inverse method is not super easy. It generally is slightly circuitous, where you have to consider like x, y, and then you have to find out the ratio by finding x's to y. So there I find that this method of alligation is slightly better. So what is the method of alligation? There we basically draw. The same thing I will show you with the method of drawing. How do you find the alligation? So here you say that if I wanted to mix rice which was 100 rupees per kg with a rice which was 150 rupees per kg, and I wanted the mixture to be worth 130 rupees per kg, in what ratio should I mix? So I will put the resulting value or the mixture value over here. I'll put the two input values over here. The lower value I'll put over here and the higher value I'll put over here. Okay? Lower to the left side, higher to the right side. Then I say higher value minus this middle value. What is the value? 150 minus 130. This is 20. 100. This is 130 minus 100. That is my middle value minus lower value. What is the value? 30. So the ratio should be 20:30. But 20:30, it is like I can cancel 10 from numerator, 10 from denominator. It is essentially 2:3 ratio. So when I have to find out the ratio, in what order, on what value should I, what ratio should I mix? I generally use alligation method. When the ratio is required, use the alligation method. When the end value is required, when you have to find out this middle value, use the weighted average method. Okay, this is basically what you have to do, that when you are calculating, you want to find out the ratio in which two things to be mixed. This is the method. Draw out this particular this. Write down the middle value, write down the low value, high minus middle value, put over here. Middle value minus low value, put over here. This is to this ratio, gives you the ratio of mixing things. Okay, this is basically the alligation method. Let's go to this. This is for solutions. The earlier method works when you have mixtures, when you're mixing grains, you're mixing rice. Even if you're mixing liquids also it works. But a particular type of question that comes in mixtures and solution is where there is replacement of solution. So I'll tell you the general form of the solution. Okay, they'll say that, okay, the milkman has, say, 10 liters of milk. Okay, he is selling 10 liters of milk. After selling 1 liter of milk, he makes up for the amount sold by adding 1 liter of water. So what happens? He first sells 1 liter of milk, he is left with 9 liters of milk. Then he adds 1 liter of water. So now he has 9 liters of milk and 1 liter of water. He has a solution or a mixture like this. Then again he will sell 1 liter of this mixture and again add back water. So after he sells 1 liter of the mixture or of this mixture, how much milk and how much water will be remaining? If he sells 1 liter of this, he will have 8 liters. 90% of it is milk. 90% of 8 liters is how much? That is 7.2 liters will be milk. The remaining 0.8 will be, 90% of this will be this. So the remaining will be water. So basically in that 1 liter, how much is going? In the 1 liter, what am I doing? If of that, basically he is going to give away 8.1 liters will be milk that will be going. Of the 1 liter that he is selling, there will be 0.81 liters will be milk, and the remaining 0.09, that is 1/10 of this will be water. So of this, 90% milk will continue. So you will have of this before the water is added, you will have 90% of this. Earlier you have 9, so you will have 8.1 liter milk and the remaining 1.9 liter water after the water is added back, once you add 1 liter of water. So what you see is that basically earlier you had 10 liters of milk, then you have 9 liters of milk, then you have 8.1 liters of milk. If you continue it, you will have 7.29 liters of milk. Again, if you add continue it, you will have that into 0.9 as such. So what is happening each time is that whatever you are not replacing, every time only 90% of it is staying back. So what do I mean by that? See, the first time when you do the replacement, okay, there was 10 liters, only 90% of the milk remains. So you will have, after the first replacement, 9 liters of milk will remain. Water is being removed and water is being added back. So the issue with that is, if you try to track water, it is harder. But it is much easier to track milk, because every time water is being added, removed and added, removed and added, there are two operations happening. So water is harder to track. So here there is 1 liter of water and 9 liters of milk. The next time, again 90% of this will remain, because each time I am taking out 10%, right? So because I am taking out 10%, 90% of the original value remains. So 90% of this is 8.1 liters of milk will remain. The balance will be made up by water. So 1.9 liters of water will remain. This is not following any pattern, but here I see that this is following a pattern, because again when I remove 10%, 90% of milk will still remain. So 90% of this will be 7.29. So again, value of milk is like following a pattern. It is following a geometric pattern. This is random. This will be like a 7, 1. This will make for 8. So this would be 2.71 of water. Milk, see, the milk one is following a clear geometric pattern. This is following no geometric pattern. So whenever you are asked, okay, how much of milk remains, how much of water remains, how much is there after like n repetitions, what can you actually quickly determine? Finding out the water content is difficult because it is not following a pattern, but finding out the milk content is super easy because it is following a geometric progression. So that is the idea that you have to follow. That in this case, when you are taking out 10%, what you say is that the amount of milk after n iterations, after I do the same thing n times, the percentage of milk or the amount of milk will be, this will be equal to how much? The amount that is not touched. So in each operation 90% is not touched, right? So 90% raised to n. This is the number of times it is doing. This is the number of times I repeat this action. So 90% raised to n into the original or the initial quantity, which in our first case was 10 liters. In general, instead of writing 90%, if I say that if there are A liters and each time I am removing and replacing B liters, okay, if every time I am starting off with A liters, I am replacing B liters, the general formula I can write it as A minus B by B raised to A. A minus B by A raised to n. This into the initial quantity will give me the final quantity. So in our case, A was 10 liters, of which 9 liters was of which 1 liter was every time removed. So in our case, 10 liters was A, B was 1 liter. So 10 minus 1 by 10. So that is 9 by 10 would always remain. So 9 by 10 raised to the number of times we are doing that action into the initial quantity would be the amount of solution left after n replacements. This will tell you the amount of milk that is remaining, because milk is not being added back. But if you want to calculate the amount of water, what should you do? Calculate the amount of milk, the balance will be the amount of water. Water is not following any regular pattern, so don't calculate for water, calculate for milk, the balance will be water. This is basically how you solve questions on solutions and mixtures. I'm giving you pretty simple questions on mixtures and solutions. Try to solve this one. I wanted this. Best mocks for CAT, any suggestions? Darshit, I would recommend Cracku's mocks. They are by far the best mocks in terms of their difficulty level, their closeness to actual CAT, and how prepared they will make you for actual CAT. So do check out our mocks. We'll put the link to our enrolling for our mocks in the chat box. And I think if there is any mock that prepares you for every kind of scenario, that would be Cracku's mocks. Okay, 0.84. I'm not telling whether it is correct or not. I want every one of you to solve it. Come on, guys. So how many questions will you do? Around 26 questions in all. So I think the content slides, a few content slides are left, but mostly it is now questions. And right now we are doing mixtures and solutions. After that, we have time, speed, distance. We have time and work. Percentages, like a question on percentages, time and work, and time, speed, distance. Time, speed, distance, time and work, I have put a lot of questions so that you have a lot of practice also. So I think we'll have around, if I'm not mistaken, I think we have around 15 questions more, but I'm not 10 to 15 questions more. Are 10 to 15 questions enough from, oh, it didn't start the, don't start it. But I think many of you are already getting the answer. Ma'am, I took 10 to 15 questions enough from study room daily to get 99 plus percentile. I would say that it depends on your current proficiency. See, I'll say if you're already good at quant, that is enough. If you're weak at quant, you need to amp it up a bit more. See, basically start off with a baseline of 10 questions. So if you have 10 questions in quant, 1 RC or 5 VA and 1 LRDI. This is the baseline, okay? But the minute you are actually weak in a particular subject, you have to double it. So I would say if it is 10 questions in quant, if you're weak in it, slightly weak in it, where you're at 80 percentile, double it. If you're at 60 percentile, triple it. If you are weak in VARC, if you're at 80 percentile, double this. If you're at 70, 60 percentile, triple it. Same with LRDI. If you're weak in any particular topic, you have to basically double the practice in that topic. Okay? Okay, most of you guys were able to do it, I think. Mostly BA 8.4, 0.84, this. Okay. How many of you guys struggled with this? How many of you guys were not able to do this? I'll show you how this was calculated and I can show you an allegation method also. I personally prefer allegation method. I find it very intuitive and very quick to do. But for some people, it is not the intuitive way to do. But I'll show you both methods, okay? The weight of a liter of 5:4 mixture by volume of kerosene and water is 1 kg. The weight of 1 liter of water is 1.2 kg. What is the weight of 1 liter of kerosene? So we are given 5:4. I don't like ratios. I will convert this to 5 liters of kerosene, 4 liters of water. What is the weight of 4 liters of water? 1 liter of water is 1.2 kgs. So 4 liters of water will be 4.8 kgs. This together is 9 liters. This 9 liters is what? 9 liters of a mixture. The weight of 1 liter of the mixture is 1 kgs. So 9 liters of this mixture will be how much? This is 9 kgs. So whatever is the weight of this kerosene, say it is X. This X plus 4.8 is equal to 9 kgs. So therefore, what is the weight of X? What is the weight of this 5 liters? That is 9 minus 4.8. So this will be 4.2. 4.2 kgs for 5 liters. So what is per liter weight? That is 4.2 divided by 5. This is 0.84. Okay. So what is the weight of per liter weight of this particular of kerosene? It is 0.84 kgs. When I solved this actually with allegations, because allegations is very intuitive for me. So I'll show it with allegations, though this is the more direct method. The allegations is slightly more twisted method. So this is the more direct method. But if you were going to solve it through allegations, how would you do it? See, let's say that the weight per kg of kerosene is X. the weight of the mixture is 1, the weight of water is 1.2. Okay, 1.2 minus 1 is how much? This is 0.2. How much is this? This is 1 minus x. Whatever is this value. Okay, we don't know. But I know this ratio is 5:4. Right? So if 5 corresponds to 0.2, this 4 will correspond to how much? 4/5 of 0.2 is 0.16. So this 1 minus x is actually 0.16. So how much would x be? If 1 minus x is 0.16, x will be 0.84. So this is the other way you can look at it through alligation. The same thing, when I actually solve anything with mixtures and solutions, I automatically think of this alligation method and it becomes trivial for me. But that method was actually the more direct method, because if the ratio is given, then finding the weighted average is faster than doing this. If you do this mostly when you have to find out the ratio. But I find this method more intuitive for me, so I use it. Whatever is more comfortable for you, use that method. So the answer in both cases we get is option A, 0.4. Okay, I'll give you another question. Guys, let's try to solve that one also. These are easy questions. So, now we'll go to percentages. Okay, so let's take a look at percentages. This is not a difficult topic, but a lot of people still struggle with percentages. The common mistake that a lot of students make with percentages is they don't know what to take a percentage of. When you say, okay, how much is A greater than B? I see a lot of students make this mistake. When I say how much is A greater than B in percentage terms, A minus B they'll put A in the denominator into 100%. Why is this the mistake? The mistake is that whenever you have any percentages, when you have to calculate increase, decrease, whatever, the word that comes after than is the base. So here when I say A greater than B, B becomes the base. Don't make this mistake. I know a lot of students in their hurry to do questions, particularly with questions that they think are easy, they make that mistake. Whatever is the word that comes after than is the base. So B has to be the base. So if I say how much is A greater than B, it has to be A minus B divided by B into 100%. If I say that, okay, 150% more than X, what is it? If I say Y is 150% more than X, what does it mean? That means that Y is X plus 150% more. So 150% of X. So therefore I will get, it is basically, I will say that it is X plus that. It is not 150% of X. If I say Y is 150% of X, it will be Y is equal to 1.5 times X. It is 150% more than X. So therefore it is X plus 150% of X. So this is X plus 1.5X. This is 2.5X. This is the only two things that you have to be careful of. That whenever you read the word than, the word after that becomes the base. Whenever you read more than, this has to be, you have to increase this by 100%. So then you will say Y is 250% of X. If you say it is Y is 150% of X, more than is not there, then it will just be 1.5X. Okay. This is the only mistake I see many times. I want you guys not to do it. In general, I think most of you know the formulas for percentages, but I will tell you in general what to do with percentages. If I say that it is an X% increase, okay, if I say A is X% more than B, then A is, it is an X%, it is 1 plus X% times B. Okay, sorry about this is not writing very well, into B. If it is an X% decrease, A is 1 minus X% times B. Here, always see, it is 1 plus 1 minus. So if it is 150% more than, it would be 1 plus 150%. 1 is essentially 100%. Okay, 150% basically percent means divided by 100. So 150% is nothing other than 1.5. 1 plus 1.5 becomes 2.5. So if I say more than, You have to put 1 plus, less than, 1 minus. Okay. Now let's consider what to do when you have successive percentage changes. Again, one more thing, sorry. Just to be very, very clear, if I say A is twice, 2 times B, if I say A is 200% of B, then I will say A is equal to 200% into B. Here there is no word less than, more than. When more than, less than is not there, I will directly write this equation. This is basically what to say. If more than, less than is there, these are the equations. When directly you written A is X% of B. X% of B means you can directly write the equation A is X% into B. That's it. Okay, this is the common source of mistakes. I don't want you to make mistakes in percentages because percentages are easy questions. Now coming to successive percentage change, there's a shorthand for doing this. So I will tell you that this comes in very handy when you have discounts in profit and loss, when discounts are given, or there is like constantly like price is reduced for something. This successive percentage change theorem, or this basically formula, comes in very handy. So why does it come in handy? Suppose your value at the start is say 100. I reduce it first by 10%. And then again I reduce it again by 20%. And then you will be asked, what is the overall change in the value? So I will say that my new value B is 10% lesser. So it would be 100 into 1 minus 10%. My new value B dash after the second change, this would be B into 1 minus 20%. But B is itself like this. So I can say that if I plug in the value of B, I will get 100 into 1 minus 10% into 1 minus, this is 1 minus 20%. Okay. So what is happening over here? You see that the percentages are being multiplied. They are stacking up like this. In general, if there are multiple changes, if this is changing by X%, then changing by Y%, increase or decrease. If it is increase, then consider it a positive value. If it is decrease, consider it a negative value. If it is changing by X%, then Y%, then Z%, then M%, then N% or whatever. When there are successive percentage changes in general, what you can just do is start with the initial value. The final value will be initial value into 1 plus X% into 1 plus Y% into 1 plus Z% and so on. Okay. So you can stack it up directly like this. A lot of people do these intermediate steps where they say that, okay, then it will become like this, then it will become like this. Don't need to do the intermediate step. You can just directly add it, append it to the side, end. Keep appending whatever other percentage changes, keep appending it to the end. Now, there is a shorthand form. Suppose if I have two changes of X and Y. If I have a X percentage change and a Y percentage change. Okay. I will say that this is say A times 1 plus X%, 1 plus Y%. If you multiply these together, what do you get? If I multiply them together, I get this is A into 1 plus X plus Y plus XY. Okay. This would be the overall change. So if you are asked, okay, if something increases by 10% and 20%, you can directly see that the rough change or overall change is over here. All of these are in percentage terms. So you can see that the net change will be X% plus Y% plus XY. Here the thing is that X and Y both are in percentages. So what will happen is that there will be 2 divided by hundreds. This is X% into Y%. So it is percent square. So there you have 2 percentages, 2 divided by hundreds. So you can actually write this as xy divided by 100%. Because you have percent square coming up, that is like inelegant, you can't like show it properly. So I say it is xy by 100%. So if you are asked quickly, if I'm asking you that, okay, if I increase by 10%, 20%, what is the overall change or what is the overall percentage increase? It will be 10 plus 20 plus 10 into 20 divided by 100. How much is this in that case? This is 30 plus 20 divided by 200 divided by 100, so that is 2. So 30 plus 2, the overall change is of 32. So if I increase by 10%, then increase by 20%, what is the overall increase? It is 32% increase. So if you have two successive changes and you want to quickly find out what is the overall change, you can use this. If you have three successive changes, use this for first two, then the combined value that you get, 32%. Use that with the third value. So you can keep using this iteratively so that you don't have to actually multiply with the initial value. You can quickly find the percentage change by doing that. So after this, like say 10, 25, 30%, then I will say that this is 32. Then the next one is 30 plus 32 into 30 divided by 100. I get this is 32 into 30 divided by 100. So that would be 9.6. So this would be 62 plus 9.6, so that would be 71.6. So a very quick shorthand form of quickly finding out what is the successive, if there are successive percentage changes, you can quickly use that formula to figure out what is the overall percentage change. Okay, so let's take a look at a question based on percentages. I want all of you to answer. This is not a difficult question at all. Okay. Ma'am, repeat once again. This is for the successive percentage formula I am just saying. See, if I have 1 plus x into 1 plus y, both are in percentage terms, okay? Yo, what happened to this? One second, I'll just get... okay, start it up again, sorry. Okay, so if I have multiplication of two things, 1 plus x and 1 plus y, okay, both of these, if I expand the terms, what do I get? I get 1 plus x plus y plus xy. So if I ask you what is the net change, what is the net increase, I can say it is 1 plus this term. So this term is the actual percentage increase or decrease. So if I ask what is the net change after two changes of x and y, what is the net change? The net change will be x plus y plus xy. But each one of these is by 100, right? So it is x by 100 plus y by 100 plus xy by 100 into 100. So this is xy by 10,000. So this is the overall percentage change. If I write in percentage, I can write that this is x% plus y% plus xy by 100%. So if I ask you, I have changed or increased or decreased twice by, I didn't start the timer again. Okay, no, I think timer got over maybe. Okay, so if I say that I am increasing this by x% and then y%, what is the net change? It is x% plus y% plus xy by 100%. So 10% plus 20% plus 10 into 20 by 100, that is 2%. So 10 plus 20 plus 2, that is 32%. Directly there, without doing any like cross multiplication, you can say that it is a overall net change of 32%. That is what I am saying. Okay, most of you guys I think were able to solve this. You were able to solve this, let me know. 500, 500, 500, 500. I think this is, most of you were able to find that. B, 500, 500. I think the first one to get it is Nitin. Anuja also very well done. Vikas, Fallen and Sarthak, Vic, all of these guys. Everybody got it. Very, very good guys. All of you have gotten it. Mostly, I think these are easy questions. Arithmetic questions generally are easy questions. But let's take a look at this question. A father bought chocolate for his 4 kids. He gave 20% of the chocolate to his first kid, 38% to the second kid, 14% of the chocolates to the third kid. He then gave 3/4 of the remaining chocolates to the last kid. If the last kid got 105 chocolates, find the number of chocolates that the father bought. So you have first kid, you have second kid, you have third kid, and you have the last kid. Together, how much did the first 3 children get? That would be 20% plus 38%, that is 58%. 58% plus 14%, how much is that? That is together 72%. 72% of the chocolates went to the first 3 kids. Of the remaining 28%, okay, you have 28% remaining. Of that, 3/4 went to the last kid. Okay, 3/4 of the remaining went to the last kid. What is 3/4 of 28? 3/4, 3 by 4 times 28 is 21%. So the remaining is 21% went to the last kid. So 21% is 105 chocolates. If 21% of the total number of chocolates that he had, suppose is n, is 105, how much is n? N will be 105 divided by 21%, that is 105 divided by 21 into 100. So this is 5 times 5 into 100. So the number of chocolates that the father bought is 500. Pretty simple question, pretty long question, but very, very simple question, right? Long to read, but a very easy question. So these questions generally with percentages are easy. You just have to remember that, okay, what is left over, how to calculate, show it out, show how much value is there. You should not make a mistake in these kind of questions, okay? Let's go to the next concept, which is of, oh, there's one more question, which is on percentages. This is a slightly tricky question, okay? I know a lot of questions, a lot of students got this wrong. And it is surprising that they got it wrong because this is a simple question as such. The guys who has just joined us, please like the stream, guys. It helps us quite a bit in reaching more students. So a small request from my side, please like the stream. Ma'am, can you speak in Telugu? Once would like to hear it. Uday, I am not very conversant in Telugu, but nenu నేర్చుకుంటున్నాను, but I'm not very conversant in it, so I hesitate to speak in it. I think most of you got the answers. I think Sonima, how many marks have you given? I just enrolled in. Okay. I think Sonima, you've done enough number of marks. I think you gave like 3, 4 or something like that, right? Okay. Ma'am, what is a good score in Dashcad? It's difficult to tell that because some of them are easy, some of them are difficult. See, sometimes if you see, okay, 2020, 2021 and 2020, I don't know why this is writing like this, 2021, 2022 and so on. Basically, if you see, the trend till 2023 was a decreasing score for 99 percentile because 2023 was the hardest, 2022 was the second hardest, 2021 was harder before that, 2020 was a moderate difficulty, 2024 was, I think, the same difficulty as 2020. If the actual scores required in CAT are changing, how can Dashcad scores be consistent? They will also change. So there will be some Dashcads which are easier, some Dashcads which are harder, and accordingly 99 percentile in those Dashcads will be different. What I will suggest is that try to give all the different levels that are there. I'll tell you the common mistakes a lot of students make is indexing score, that I have to do 2 DILR sets, I have to do these many questions in quant, I have to do these many questions in verbal. That is a very bad habit to have, that's a wrong habit to have. I'll tell you when you would actually suffer. In 2024 till 2023, 2021 to 2023, 2 DLR sets would have been enough. It would have been enough to clear most cutoffs. In 2024, because they put such easy DLR sets, the guys who stopped after doing 2 DLR sets would have suffered. So never index a particular score in mind. Always look at the competition, always look at the percentile. because that will give you an idea of what you need to score. The absolute score will not help you that much because the required score itself changes quite a bit. So in 2024, for example, the DLIR cutoffs would be much higher, not just like a little higher, but 10 marks higher than that for 2023. So you should not index to a particular score. Okay, most of you guys were able to answer this. So what is most of you guys saying? What is the weight of the watermelon after evaporation? What is the weight? Guys are saying D, 4.5, 4.5. Okay. So let's, I have given 12 to 15 marks. Okay, excellent Sonima, that's very, very good. Okay. A watermelon weighing 5 kgs was left in the sun due to evaporation of water. The percentage of water content decreased from 99% to 90%. What is the weight of watermelon after water evaporation? Like ratios, I don't like percentages because percentages are of something. So as the base changes of the percentage, the value changes. So what I always do is convert percentage to absolute values. I'm very comfortable with absolute values. Here also I'm going to do the same thing, where you have 5 kgs before evaporation, of which what is there? You have 99% of this is water and 1% is the pulp or whatever you say, weight of the watermelon, pulp. Okay, 1% is pulp. So 1% of 5 kgs is how much? 5 kgs is difficult to actually take 1%. I'll say this is 5,000 grams. Okay, 5,000 grams. If I say 5,000 grams is there instead of 5 kgs, what is 1%? So we have 50 grams of pulp. Okay, and you have 99%, 50 grams is pulp, so 4950 grams of water. 50 grams of pulp, 4950 grams of water. Okay. When you are evaporating, what will happen when it evaporates? There will be some water loss. Some water will go, minus X. Okay, some water will go. Now the new ratio is such that you have 90% water content. 90% water and 10% pulp. 90% will be water, 10% will be pulp. Okay. So you are asked, okay, if 10% of pulp is 50 grams, is pulp going from evaporation? No, the pulp will remain constant. The key to solving all of these questions is figuring out what remains constant. The pulp remains constant, so 10% is 50 grams, which means what? Which means that the remaining 90% would be 9 times this, so this will be 450 grams. So what is the combined weight of the new this? What is the weight of the watermelon after the evaporation? 450 grams plus 50 grams. That is half a kg. Many of you guys wrote 4.5 and I knew that you would fall for this. Many of you guys wrote 4.5. Why? Because it seems intuitive. This seems intuitive. 10%, 9% come ho gaya, it will be like 9% of that. So it seems intuitive, it will be this. But 1% has become 10%. That's a huge change. It is 0.5 kgs. I know a lot of students, good students make errors in this. This is a simple question. This is not a difficult question. But a lot of people made a mistake in that. So what is the weight? It is 500 grams. What is the weight of the watermelon after water evaporation? It is only 500 grams. That is half a kilo. Okay, all of you guys are good students. I know all of you guys are good students. But don't take shortcuts. Don't do cheap tricks. This is not a question that you should do wrong. The only reason you would get it wrong is that you never bothered doing all of this. Because if you did bother doing all of this, you would get the right answer. So always don't take these kind of shortcuts where you say, okay, 90%, 99% take ratio, you get 4.5. That is not how it is going to work. Okay, so the correct answer is half a kg. After evaporation, it is 500 grams. Okay. Let's go to the next topic. Okay. So this is the guys who are looking to join Cracku's Dashcard series. Before you actually do, and if you want to look at what free resources Cracku has, so the guys who are not our premium subscribers, we have 3 free CAT mocks. Please start your preparation now with a mock because it is super important to take a mock to even at least index yourself. Unless you take a mock, you don't know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So we are giving 3 free mocks. Please take it. Apart from that, we are giving the previous year's papers with solution completely free. In addition to that, we have a lot of revision videos. There are revision videos on YouTube for entire Quant, entire LRDI. There's like a full revision marathon. You can see them. They are completely free. So if you're looking for Cracku's resources before you buy, please take a look at our Cracku's resources, and definitely recommend this one. It is a must do. Okay, previous papers are an absolute must do. Okay. Let's go to the next topic, which is of time and work. Time and work is a super important topic. It is like the most important topic after time, speed, distance when it comes to arithmetic. So we'll give it its appropriate importance and due. We'll go through it properly. We'll solve a lot of questions from time and work. I'm doing like 2 questions here or there, but time and work I have a lot of questions because it is a very important topic and I want you to do well in it. The method was solving questions in time and work. It's called a unitary method. So the idea behind that is basically, whenever you're given the efficiency or how much time people take to do a particular work, instead of looking at the work time that is being taken, you convert it into units of work. So for example, if I say that there is some work and say Ramesh takes 5 days to do it and say Suresh takes 4 days to do it. The way I actually solve this is, I take 5 and 4, I take the LCM of it. I say that LCM of 5 and 4 is 20. So I'll say that let the work to be done is 20 units. Okay. If I say that this is 20 units, Ramesh takes 5 days to do 20 units. How many units does he do each day? So efficiency of Ramesh becomes 20 divided by 5, 4 units per day. What is Suresh's efficiency? 20 divided by 4, 5 units per day. Now if I tell you that they work together, how much time will they take? If they work together, you just add their efficiencies together, you get 9 units, 20 divided by 9, that is the number of days that will take. So basically somewhere between 2 to 3 days will be taken if they work together. So this is the basic idea of unitary method, that given time, take the LCM of time, say that that is the units of work that is there, say this is the units of work, convert the time into efficiency, then it becomes possible and easy for you to solve questions. Take the LCM of time, whenever if another value is given, say 6 days, then I will take the LCM of 5, 4 and 6. So then I will say that multiplied by 3, consider 60 units. So by doing this, I am converting divided by 5, divided by 4, divided by 6 into easy to use integral units of work. So I get efficiency. When people work together, I can add up efficiency. If somebody works and somebody destroys the work, I can take negative efficiency. So all of that becomes possible. It becomes possible for people to like combine together if I talk in efficiency rather than days, because days does not help you in combination. When you convert it to units per day, then you can calculate, okay, what happens when they work together. So this is what I want you to do whenever time and work comes, convert it into efficiency. Do not continue to work in days. Now, efficiency when people work together. See, if A, B, C work together, okay, you add their efficiencies. Whenever people work together, you just have to add the efficiency. Suppose A, B, C work together, but D does like counterproductive work, where like A, B, C are building a wall and D is breaking down the wall. So D is doing negative work, so his efficiency will be negative. So you have to deduct D's efficiency in that case. So when people work together productively, you add their efficiency. When somebody does destructive work, you deduct his efficiency. Another type of question that often comes is that people don't work together for the same amount of time. A does work for 10 days, B does work for 5 days, C does work for 4 days or whatever. So then you say that A does work for 10 days, then A does 10A work. B works for 5 days, B does 5B work. C works for 7 days, C does 7C work. And this will be together the work that is there. This together, 10A plus 5B plus 7C gives you the total work that has to be done. Equate it with the work, other information that is given, then you will get the number of days that is, or the total work that has to be done, whatever is the question asked, you will get it. So basically, whenever you are given that people work together, if they work for the same amount of time, you can multiply the time together to all of these elements. If they work for different amounts of time, multiply the time with the efficiency. Then you will get what work was done by each individual person. Then together you will get their like combined efficiency, you will get their total time taken or whatever is asked. So this is basically when people work together. Now suppose that they work together but not at the same time. Suppose first day A works. Okay, A works on first day, B works on second day, C works on third day. How do you actually deal with something like this? You still add there, okay? So you say that in 3-day block, A plus B plus C, in a 3-day block, this work is going to be done. So A plus B plus C work is done in a 3-day block. So if I say that the total work that has to be done is say 10 times this. In 3-day block, A plus B plus C is happening. Suppose that the value of A, B, C are say 1, 2 and 3 and together there is 60 units of work to be done. So in 3 days, 6 units is done. So if in 3 days, 6 units is done, then in 30 days, you will have 60 units. So you then convert, instead of considering that 1 day at a time, you consider 1 block of 3 days at a time and calculate for 1 block how much time is taken. The only difference over here is, suppose you have that, suppose instead of doing 60 units, suppose you had 50 units of work to be done. Okay, you have 50 units of work to be done. A does 1 unit, B does 2 units, C does 3 units, and they work on first, second and third day, and again, fourth day again A comes, fifth day again B comes, etc. How do you say what is the day on which it is done? See, together they do 6 units. So 6 units in 10 days, they will do 60 units. But this is only 50 units. And 50 is not a multiple of 6. So what should you do? So basically, try to finish, like, basically do it till the multiple of 6. Okay. So when you have like 60, okay, you have 6 units. So you will say, okay, 6 into 8 is 48. So 8 blocks of 3 days, they will work. Okay. You have 8 blocks done. Then how much work is that? After these 8 blocks, 48 units is done. Then on the 9th block, not full block is required. 9th block, that is after this is 24 days, on 25th day, A will do 1 unit of work, it will become 49. And on 26th day, B will do only 1 unit of work is remaining on 49 days. So B will do the remaining unit of work and you hit the 50 units together. They can't do, if 50 units of work is there, they can't do 60 units of work, right? So what happens when blocks are there? When the amount of work is not a perfect multiple of a block, you split the blocks so that on the last block, you have to basically split and count individually. That on day 1 this happens, on day 2 this happens, on day 3 this happens. So that you do not overshoot a particular work that has to be done. This is the basic idea. There is one additional idea when there is additional positive and negative work. We'll see an example of that. And in that example, I'll show you that, okay, when you're splitting in this block also, there is a exception that happens where something kind of contradictory happens. I'll show that in that particular example because then you will get perfectly what is happening over. Okay, so let's take a look at an example. Let's start with an question. Okay, so I'll cover pipes and cisterns also. So pipes and cisterns, also think of it in terms of time and work. Time and work, basically whatever is work, consider is that the volume of the tank to be filled. So 60 units of work or 60 liters of water, both are same. One person doing work, one pipe filling water, same. The efficiency of a person is the filling speed of the pipe. Why am I saying this? Basically the concept remains the same. How you solve time and work, solve this pipes and cisterns, exactly same. Inlet is positive efficiency. When person is doing work, you consider it positive efficiency, right? So if inlet is there, it is positive efficiency. If it is outlet, consider it as a person who is destructive and who is doing negative work. So outlet is negative work, inlet is positive work. You consider positive efficiency for inlet pipes, negative efficiency for outlet pipes. So total work to be done will be what? This is the time taken by the system. This is the total sum of all inlet pipes minus the total sum of all outlet pipes. This is the combined efficiency of the system. Add the efficiency of each inlet pipe, deduct the efficiency of each outlet pipe, you will get the overall efficiency of the system. That multiplied by time is the work, or you can also call it as the volume of the tank. So using this, you can figure out how much time would it take. If all these pipes are started, how much time would it take? It's the same that if everyone works together, how much time would it take? Same question, same concept, use the same ideas. The only small difference is when pipes are at a height. This is exactly like when you say that A and B start working, C joins 5 days later. This is the exact same concept, because when say a pipe is at a height, an outlet pipe is at a height. Suppose your inlet pipe start at the same time, okay, but your outlet pipe is halfway up. If your outlet pipe is halfway up, it is not going to start at the same time as the inlet pipes. So for the first part of the system, first half volume, for the first half V by 2, the efficiency of the system will be the inlet pipes only. Suppose there are two inlet pipes, I1 and I2. If I put it over here also, it doesn't matter because water is going to fall down. So it won't matter where the inlet pipe is. But outlet pipe, water has to rise to a level only, then it will flow out. So inlet pipes, wherever they are, it doesn't matter, they are always active. Unless specifically told that they have not been opened, they'll always be active. In this case, for the first half of the volume, the efficiency of the system will be the sum of the inlet pipes that are open. But for the second half of the volume, you will see that the half of the work is done, the second half of the work is done, the outlet pipe starts coming into play. So now the efficiency of the system for filling the second half of volume of the water will be the sum of the inlet pipes minus the outlet pipe. Because suddenly after water has risen to a particular level, the outlet pipe comes into play. Then it will matter what the outlet pipe, whether it is on or not. So this is the only time when the system, basically this the outlet pipe doesn't come into play immediately. Only when water rises to a particular level will the outlet pipe come into play. So whenever you have questions like this, consider two parts. How much time does it take to fill half the tank? How much time does it take to fill the remaining half the tank? Because the speeds for both half is completely different. So you split it up into cases. Case 1, part 1, part 2, what is the time? Part 1, what is the time? Add them up together, you get the overall time. So this is the basic idea. Solve it like you would solve time and work, and you will get the same results. I am giving a fairly simple question. I want all of you to answer it. Come on, guys. Not verified, still can't believe that it is 500 grams. What? Okay. But it was, I think, it is non-intuitive. I am telling you beforehand, don't take shortcuts. Those kind of shortcuts will cost you for easy questions. Be careful in those kind of questions. We'll be getting a lunch break. Mandavi, quickly have lunch or miss a bit part of it. But we'll be continuing till the end of the session. We won't be taking a break. Ma'am, I'm struggling in function graph questions. That's it. What I would say is that if it is graphs, look at the normal graphs of different types of algebraic functions, like how does a parabola look like for a quadratic equation, or how does a cubic equation look like. Cubic equation you don't need to do, just look at the different parabolas. If it's a positive, a is positive, how does the parabola look like? If roots are real, how does the parabola look like? If roots are not real, how does the parabola look like? Look at all the different cases so that the graph part is easy. For functions, look at my videos for Cauchy's functional equations, modified Cauchy's functional equations. Memorize each one of those formula. They will reduce the time taken for functions questions by half, by 1/4 actually. So that makes the functions questions, not what are normally asked in CAT, much easier. So just mug up those formulas, that will help you quite a bit. Lot of people answering, okay. We are, okay. Lakshika, I know you are asking about the e-Mitra, but honestly, we don't know how it will work in that portal. Try going there and see whether they can help you fill the form. But basically, this form is on IIM CAT. For filling the IIM CAT form, you need all of your proofs with you. And you need not fill it in one go also, you can fill it yourself at home. Basically, start the form, you will see all the fields. You need not submit it immediately. You can fill it over a couple of days. Every time you can save your progress and then move forward. So you need not go to some place to get it filled also. You can do it at home. But if you need somebody's help, you can maybe go to that e-Mitra kiosk. But basically, you need all your academic proofs with you. You need all of that information with you. So it will be much easier for you to do it at home. A lot of people are saying A1514. I think a lot of people are again going to be shocked, like the last question. Shock, big shock. I'm expecting another what for this. Okay, what? Okay, I think I didn't start this, but I think most of you guys were able to solve this question or are already done solving this question. So let's take a look at the question. 5 men build a wall in 12 days, 10 women can destroy the same wall in 10 days. 10 men start the work and complete a part of it during the day. If 5 men can build it in 12 days, what is their efficiency? This is 12 days, this is 10 days. I don't like things in days. I will convert it into units. I want efficiency. So 12 and 10, I will start with a nice round number. I'll say that let the wall be of 120 units. Okay. Now, if the wall, 5 men can build it in 12 days. So in one day, how many units are being done by the 5 men? 20 divided by 12. So basically one man is doing, so 5 men are doing how much work? 5 men are doing 120 by 12, that is they are doing 10 units. So one man is doing how much work? One man is doing 2 units of work. In the actual question, we are not asked 1 man or 5 man. We are asked 10 men. 10 men start doing the work and complete a part of it during the day. So if 1 man does 2 units, how much units would 10 men do? 10 men would do 20 units. So 20 units is being done in the day. On the other hand, during the night, the women are coming and destroying the wall. 10 women can destroy the same wall in 10 days. So 10 women do how much work? 10 days, 120 units they can destroy. So in one day, how much can they destroy? 120 by 10. So they are destroying 12 units per day. So 10 women are doing how much negative work? They are doing negative work of minus 12 units. Right? So what is happening over here? 20 units are made during the day, minus 12 units in the night. This is the question that I was referring to. When you have negative work, at the very end you have to be very careful, because what is going to happen is that work might be completed before you think, and I'll show you why. So 20 units are happening during the day, 12 units are being deducted at night. So in one day unit, day and night unit, how much work is being done? 20 minus 12, 8 units is completed. If I consider day and night together, 8 units are completed. 8 units are completed, 120 units are there together. There will be 120 divided by 8. It should be 15 days. But wait, hold on. Let's see what is actually happening. Consider my units. First unit, first day 8 units. Second day 8 units. Third day 8 units, and so on. Till say on day 14. So day 13, let me put it till day 13. Okay. On 13th day, again you have, on day 13, again you have 8 units done. Okay. These are the days. So together how much unit work is done in all these 13 days? 8 into 13 is how much? 8 into 13 is, this is 80 plus 24, 104, 80 plus 24, 104 units of work is done. Okay. 104 units of work is done. Now you have how many work units? 120 units. Now this is the 14th day. The guys come in the morning, they start working. Before night falls, this 104 units are there. How much work is pending on the 14th day? Only 16 units is pending. These guys start working, they can do 20 units. So 16 units will be done during the 14th day itself. Now what will happen is that when the night falls, some amount of it will be deducted, some amount will be broken by the women. But the unit will be completed first on 14th day. The women will break it, again they will deduct some part of it, and again the guys will rebuild again on 15th day and complete it again on the 15th day. But for the first time, when it complete? It will complete on the 14th day, because 104 units are done on the 13th day. These guys can do 20 units, so plus 20 would be 124. They don't need to do 20 units full. They will do the remaining 16 units. And within the day, within 4/5 of the day that they have, they will complete the work. So when is the work done for the first time? Is it 15? No, it is 14. Whenever such questions come, be careful at the end, because the value will always be actually lesser, slightly lesser than the value you expect. Because in those blocks that you have, right, the end block, always cut that end block into small pieces, because these kind of errors occur very often in these kind of questions. Whenever there is the final block, cut it into pieces, then you will get the correct question. Okay. 14th day, everyone, okay? Most of you got that? Okay. Okay. Let's go with the next question. Maruti will take over. This is your question, yeah?
Hey guys, now I think I'll solve a few questions. Till now, I think Sayali was looking at it. Let us start the clock for this question. And in the meantime, I would request you to please do like the stream. We are doing a long stream. This will be for around 4 hours. So please like the stream. Let us try to get to 350 likes. Let us target 350 likes for the stream. That will be good. That will motivate us to do these kind of streams in the future also. We plan to do these kind of streams every Saturday or every Sunday. So if you like the stream, it will definitely help us and motivate us to do these kind of streams more often. In the meantime, if you have any doubts or queries, you can ask me. Lakshit is saying cat के form में photo attach नहीं हो रहा है और signature. Please contact the IIM cat guys. If you are having any issue, any technical issue with respect to filling the form, please contact them. You know the email address, you know the website. Just go there and you can ask them, or you can even call them. In my experience, I've seen that they're actually very responsive. Many times they actually lift the phone and they'll actually give you the answer. So you should definitely try doing that. If anybody has actually gotten this question correct, please do give the explanation also in the chat. Anybody whose explanation is good, I will definitely give them a shout out. Yeah, many people are giving the answer. I think some of them got it correct, some of them got it wrong. But it is interesting to see. Actually, I'm surprised that very few people got it correct. Quadratic equation will be formed. I don't think a quadratic equation will be formed. I think a linear equation will be formed. Let us say, I'll explain it and then I think it will become even clearer. Okay, let us try to answer this question, guys. Time is up. So basically what we are told is that the time taken by Ram, Rahim and Robert together to complete a job is half the time taken by Ram and 3 hours less than the time taken by Rahim or Robert. Find the total time taken by all three of them together to complete the job. So let us assume that the work done, in general in time and work, it is important that we focus on how much work is done per hour. So work done in 1 hour by Ram, let us assume this is A units. Similarly, the work done in 1 hour by Rahim, let us assume is B units. And the work done by Robert, the third guy, in 1 hour is say C units. Let us assume that all three of them together, they take T hours to finish the job when all of them are together. And we know that this time taken is half the time taken by Ram alone. So Ram alone, how much time does it take? Ram alone will take 2T hours. And this is 3 hours less than the time taken by Rahim or Robert. So the time taken by Rahim will be T plus 3 hours. And similarly, the time taken by Robert will be T plus 3 hours. Now, time taken by all three of them together is T hours. Time taken by Ram alone is 2T hours. And time taken by Rahim alone is T plus 3, time taken by Robert alone is T plus 3. This is what is the information that is given to us. Once you look at this, once the time taken by Rahim and the time taken by Robert is the same, it would imply that the amount of work done by both of them will be the same in 1 hour. If both of them are taking the same amount of time, the work done by both of them in 1 hour should be the same. So the work done by Ram, if you assume is A units, and if you assume that the work done by Rahim is B units, the work done by Robert will be also B units. Why is that the case? Because both of them are taking the same amount of time, that is T plus 3 hours to finish the job. Now in 1 hour, what is the work done by all three of them together? It will be A, which is the work done by Ram, plus B, which is the work done by Rahim, plus another B, which is the work done by Robert. All three of them, they work for T hours to finish the job. So A plus B into T is the total work that needs to be done. This is equal to, if Ram alone is working, he would do A units of work, but he is going to take how much time? He will take 2T hours. So this is equal to 2T. From this equation, we can figure out, we can cancel T on both sides. So A plus 2B is equal to 2A. Or the value of A is equal to 2B. So the total work that needs to be done which is equal to the total time taken T into, in 1 hour, Ram does A units of work, Rahim does B units of work, and Robert also does B units of work. The value of A is equal to 2B. So this will essentially be equal to 4BT. But what we are told is that if Rahim alone is working or if Robert alone is working, they will finish the job in T plus 3 hours. So 4B into T is equal to B into T plus 3. We can cancel B on both sides. So 4T is equal to T plus 3, or the value of 3T is equal to 3, or the value of T is equal to 1 hour. So if all three of them are working together, they will finish the job in 1 hour. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Let me see if anybody has any doubts, otherwise we'll go to the next question. Okay, many people got it correct. Akhil, Kumar, Kanan, I think all of them have gotten it correct. Very well done, guys. Let us look at the next question. And let us start the timer also. Matthew Shaji saying, sir, small break. See, I would recommend that if you're looking for a small break, take a break and come back and then run this video at say 1.5 hours or something. Not verified is saying, sir, once again. Basically, we have three people, Ram, Rahim and Robert. If you assume that Ram does A units of work, Rahim does B units of work, and Robert does C units of work, the total work that needs to be done is A plus B plus C, and the time taken is T hours. This is equal to only Ram working for A, that is, he's doing A units of work, but he will have to do it for 2T hours. This is equal to, if say only Rahim is working, he will work for T plus 3 hours. And if only Robert is working, he will do C units of work, he will also get it done in T plus 3 hours. These are the equations that we have. We have to solve for T. This is what is given. Basically, from these two, you would know that B has to equal C. And from these two, you will know that A will equal to B. So if you solve all of them, you are going to get the value of T to be equal to 1. You will get the value of B to be equal to the value of C. You will get A to be equal to 2B. I know that I covered it up, so I'll give you some more time for you to actually solve this question. Many people got the question correct, guys. If you can give me the explanation also, that will be great. Okay, the time is up, so let us try to solve this question. In this question, what we are told is that Amisha can complete a particular task in 20 days. So let us assume that in one day, the amount of work done by Amisha is, say, 1 unit. She can finish the work in 20 days. So total work that needs to be done is equal to 20 units. Because Amisha does 1 unit of work per day, she takes 20 days to finish the job. So total work that needs to be done is 20 units. Now after working for 4 days, she fell sick for 4 days and resumed work on the 9th day. So if you assume that, we'll just draw a timeline like this. She worked properly for the first 4 days. And in these 4 days, what is the work that she finished? She does 1 unit of work per day. So in these 4 days, she finished 4 units of work. Then she fell sick, and these 4 days she did 0 units of work. Now 8th day is over. From the 9th day, she started working. But because she was sick, she was able to do only half the speed. She was only doing half of her original work rate. So after this, the work done by Amisha in one day is only 1/2 units. And then she also had a co-worker. We don't know what is the amount of work that the co-worker does in a day. But let us assume that the co-worker is doing, say, A units of work. So both of them together in one day, what is the work done? Both of them together will do A plus 1/2 units of work. And then they finish the work on the 20th day. That is, they finish the work after 12 days of working. In those 12 days, what is the work that both of them combined do? They will be doing 12 into A plus 1/2. And before she got sick, Amisha did 4 units of work. So 12 plus 1/2 plus 4 has to equal the total work that needs to be done. And what is the total work that needs to be done? The total work that needs to be done is 20 units. So this would imply that this is equal to 20. You can simplify this. 12 into A plus 12 into 1/2 is 6 is equal to 16, or basically the value of A will be equal to 5/6. That is, the co-worker is doing 5/6 units of work every day. What is the total work that needs to be done? Again, let us remember that the total work that needs to be done is 20 units. The co-worker is doing 5/6 units every single day. So the total number of days that co-worker will take to finish the job is 20 divided by 5/6, which is equal to 4 into 6, which is equal to 24 days. So the co-worker will finish the job in 24 days. So the answer for this question is 24. Let me look at the chat if anybody has any doubts with respect to this, and let me go to the next one. Yeah, I think many people got it correct. Very well done, guys. Let us look at the next one. One thing I wanted to ask you is how many people are actually taking the Cracku daily targets? Many people ask me what are the best ways in which they can prepare for LRDA specifically. I would say one very good resource for you to practice LRDAs for CAT is the Cracku daily targets. Cracku daily targets will give you a good consistency. There are thousands of students who take the Cracku daily targets every single day. If you haven't taken it, I would recommend you to start that habit. It will be a very good habit. After CAT is over, when I interview a lot of people, especially people who have done well, I keep asking them what are the things about Cracku that you liked. They give me different answers. They give me that they like the concept videos. They say, some people say they like the mocks. Some people say XYZ. But one thing that everybody says is the Cracku daily targets. Nearly every topper that I interviewed with me has always told me that Cracku daily targets have benefited them quite a lot. It instills a sense of discipline. It instills good habits in you. So people find Cracku daily targets to be super helpful. I would recommend all of you to take it, and if you actually get this streak to be more than 50, you get a free Cracku t-shirt. That is only for Cracku daily target students or for Cracku batch students. Anybody who is enrolled to Cracku, I think will get the Cracku t-shirt. But it is something that I would definitely recommend you to do. In the chat, please do let me know how many Cracku daily targets you have taken. That is basically what is your current streak. Anybody who has a current streak of greater than 30, I'll give a shout out. This is the next question, guys. Let me start the timer. Abhishek Kumar is saying 44-day streak. Very good, man. Atul Patare is also saying 44 streak. Akhil Kumar is saying his streak of 50 days is done. Very good, man. Very well done. Matthew Sajay is saying, sir, can you tell me where I can improve? I did 7 mocks and try to do every daily target and attend class, but my marks and percentile are low. I would say you have to believe in the process. If you are taking the mocks regularly, if you are doing the batch tasks that are given in the Cracku daily tasks, I think you are definitely on the right track. What I would definitely tell you one more thing is, ensure that you are also solving a lot of questions. I think from now till the actual examination, try to focus on solving. That will definitely help you gain confidence as well as speed. One other thing I will tell you is when you're taking a mock, don't attempt it when you're not completely serious. It should be like a religious experience. You should basically feel that, okay, on Sunday at that particular time, I'm going to take a mock. Or on Saturday at say 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I'll take a mock. Something or the other which should be very rigid. You should be very clear that that is the time I'll take a mock. So I will be prepared for it. Half an hour before the mock starts, I will actually think about the mock. I will go into my room. I'll try to motivate myself to do better. And I won't get distracted in the middle. My phone will be switched off. All of these things, I think, matter when you're taking the mock seriously. Then you will get the best benefit. When you're analyzing your performance also, if you take the mock very seriously, then you can analyze it better. Then you will understand what you're doing well and what you're not doing well. Try to do these kind of things. I think it will definitely improve your marks in the mock. Many people have gotten the answer correct of 60 minutes. Please do let me know how you actually got it also. And we have 260 likes. Let us get 350 likes, guys. We need just 90 more likes. Something is up with my screen. It's okay, we are trying to figure it out. Just give us a couple of minutes, guys. Okay, let me go to all of that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. It's okay. It will come back. Yeah. I'm assuming that the time also is up, guys. So let us try to solve this question. There are two taps, T1 and T2, at the bottom of a water tank. Either or both can be used to empty or water the tank. If T1 is opened and keeping T2 closed, the water tank initially full gets empty in half an hour. So let us try to figure it out. Let us assume that this is the water tank. Now, we don't know the volume of the water tank. Let us assume that this is V. If T1 alone is opened, then the water tank gets empty in 30 minutes. If both T1 and T2 are open, the water tank gets empty in 20 minutes. That is, if T1 plus T2 are open, the water tank gets empty in 20 minutes. We are given the time it takes for both of these pipes to empty the tank. So let us assume that the volume of the tank is the LCM of 20 and 30. What is the least common multiple of 20 and 30? Basically, we are looking for some number which is a multiple of 20, it is a multiple of 30. In this particular case, we will assume that this is 60. So let us assume that the volume of the tank is 60 liters. We can assume this to be any number. We can assume this to be 60, 80, 100, 1000. We can assume it to be any number. But if it is a multiple, then many of the calculations become easy. So if the volume is 60 liters, what is the amount of water that T1 removes in 1 minute? It removes 60 liters in 30 minutes. So T1 alone will remove 2 liters every minute. And T1 plus T2, they take 20 minutes to remove 60 liters. So every minute they will be removing 3 liters. Or basically T2 alone will remove how much? It will remove 1 liter every minute. And the total volume of the tank is 60 liters. Every minute it is removing 1 liter. So how much time will T2 take? If T2 is open and if T1 is closed, what is the time it takes for the tank to be completely empty? It will be 60 minutes, which is 60 divided by 1, which is 60. So like many people actually mentioned, the answer for this question is 60. Let me look at the chat and after that I'll go to the next question. Okay. Sarthak Walia is saying, LCM of both times, finding the efficiency of each and equating LCM and with efficiency of T2. I think that is correct, Sarthak Walia. That's exactly how I have done it. Matthew suggests, sir, I don't do batch tasks, but one time I saw it, it was super helpful. Matthew, I would really request you to do the batch tasks, because only if you do the batch tasks are you going to gain the most out of the Cracku course. Otherwise, your preparation, I think, will not be very structured. We put a lot of effort into designing the batch tasks to ensure that you cover the syllabus quickly and you cover all the important topics multiple times. So I would really recommend you to stick to the batch tasks and keep doing them regularly. Vikas Chaudhary, your explanation also is very correct. Well done. Okay, many people got this correct. I'll go and I'll give the explanation, guys. Maybe I'll wait for another 1 minute before I give the explanation so that everybody can answer it. Okay, I think many people got it correct. So if anybody can give the explanation, that will be great. Okay, let us answer this question. A pipe can fill a tank in 3 hours, whereas a drain can empty the tank in 4 hours. So how much time does the pipe take to fill? Pipe takes 3 hours and a drain takes 4 hours to empty. So let us assume that the volume of the tank we can again assume the volume of the tank to be any number. But we'll assume the volume to be a multiple of 3 and 4 so that the calculations become easy. So in this particular case, let us assume that the volume is 12 liters. So a pipe in 1 hour, what is the volume that is filled by the pipe? The pipe fills 12 divided by 3, which is 4 liters. And a drain, it empties 12 divided by 4, which is 3 liters. This is what is done in 1 hour. Now we have 5 pipes and 4 drains. So 5 pipes, how much water will they fill? Every pipe will fill 4 liters. So 5 pipes will fill 5 into 4. And there are 4 drains, they empty out water. Every drain is emptying out 3 liters per hour. So 4 drains will empty minus 4 into 3. This is the water that is effectively filled in 1 hour, which is 20 minus 12, which is equal to 8 liters. So when you are using 5 pipes and 4 drains, 8 liters are filled in 1 hour. Now how much time will the tank be completely full? What is the volume of the tank? We assume the volume of the tank to be 12 liters. In this setup, how much water is filled in 1 hour? 8 liters is filled in 1 hour. So the time it takes will be 12 divided by 8, which is equal to 1.5 hours. So the answer for this question is option B. Let me look at the chart, guys, and after that we'll go to the next question. I think everybody got this correct. 5 by 3 minus 4 by 4, 3 by 2. Sonima Dwivedi got it correct. I think Sharon also got it correct. Okay, I think many people got it correct. Let us look at the next one. Let me put the timer also. Many people got it correct, man. Many of you have given this answer as 40 by 7, which is very good. Well done. There is 30 more seconds left. If anybody can give the explanation, then it will be very good. I think Rashid, Akhil Kumar, Rakshit, Anuja, Avinash, Sharan, Balaji, Vedantika, all of these guys have given the correct answer. Nitin Chanakya Gunam also gave the correct answer, but please give the explanation. If you give the explanation, then I think it will be better. Okay, the time is up, guys. Let us try to solve this question. Ram completes 60% of the task in 15 days. So in 15 days, Ram completes how much task? Ram completes 60% of the task. So Ram takes how many days to complete the full task? Ram is going to take 15 days divided by 0.6, which is 60%. That is 25 days to finish the task. Now, Rahim is 50% as efficient as Ram. If Ram is taking 25 days, Rahim is going to take how much time? Rahim is going to take 50 days because Rahim is doing 50% of the job as Ram. And Rachel is 50% as efficient as Rahim. So Rachel will be doing the entire job in how many days? She will do it in 100 days. Why is this the case? Because we know that Ram is finishing the job in 25 days. Rahim is 50% as efficient, so he will take double the time, which is 50 days. Rachel is 50% as efficient as Rahim is, so Rachel will take double the time, which is 100 days. Now, how many more days will they take to complete the work? Before we calculate it, let us first try to make a guess on what is the total work that needs to be done. Total work that needs to be done, we can assume to be any number, but we'll assume that to be a multiple of 25, 50 and 100. Then the calculations become easy. The smallest such multiple is 100. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is 100 units. In one day, how much work is done by Ram? Ram finishes the work of 100 units in 25 days. So in one day, Ram does 4 units of work. Rahim finishes 100 units of work in 50 days. So every day, Rahim will do 2 units of work. Rachel finishes 100 units of work in 100 days. So every day, she does 1 unit of work. Now what we are told is 60% of the work is finished. So what is the work done? Work done is 60 units. That is finished. Work remaining is 40 units. And this 40 units, Ram alone is not doing it. Ram is taking the help of Rahim and Rachel to do this 40 units of work. Ram does 4 units of work, Rahim does 2 units of work, Rachel does 1 unit of work. All 3 of them together will do 4 plus 2 plus 1, which is 7 units. So the time taken by them will be 40 units, which is the remaining work, divided by 7. So these are the number of days that it will take them to finish the remaining work, which is 40 by 7. That is the answer. Let me look at the chart before going to the next question. Sonima Dwivedi got it correct, RD got it correct, Avinash Patare got it correct, Sharon got it correct. Well done, guys. The RD got it correct, and Vikas Chaudhary also got it correct. Samir Mishra asked a question with respect to not able to crack DLR sets in Dashcat even though practicing a lot. Definitely check out the Dashcat LRDS of Dashcat 8. I think they're definitely on the easier side. There is one LRDI set in Dashcat 7 which involves some squares, which also I think is a fairly easy one. I'm sorry if I gave any spoiler to people who haven't attempted it. But there are some sets in Dashcats which are definitely easy. The name of the game is picking the right sets. That I think is very important. Samir Mishra is saying, apart from DLN, my score is ranging above 90% range as per your analysis video. I think that is well done, man, Samir. Just ensure that if you want to improve in DLR, do 2 things. Do the previous year's papers of LRDIs and solve daily targets regularly. And try to pick the right sets in Dashcats. There are definitely at least 1 or 2 sets in every Dashcat which are on the easier side. You have to identify them correctly. You have to improve that skill. Okay guys, the time is up. Let us try to solve this question. 4 men and 3 women can do a job in 6 days. So 4 men and 3 women can finish a task in 6 days. Okay. So let us assume that 4 men and 3 women, they finish a task in how many days? In 6 days. And 5 men and 6 women finish the same job in 4 days. So 5 men and 6 women finish the same task in how many days? And they finish it in 4 days. Whenever you are given the time it takes to finish a job, focus more on the work that is done per day. So here we have 6 days and 4 days. So let us assume that the total work that needs to be done is the least common multiple of 6 and 4, which is equal to 12 units. This would imply that 4 men and 6 women and 3 women, how much work did they do in one day? They're taking 6 days to do 12 units of work. So in one day they do 2 units of work. Similarly, 5 men and 6 women, they take 4 days to do 12 units of work. So in one day they do 3 units of work. So we have two equations. If the amount of work done by one man in one day is M, and if the amount of work done by one woman in one day is W, 4M plus 3W is 2, 5M plus 6W is 3. We'll multiply the first equation with 2. So what are we going to get? We are going to get 8M plus 6W is equal to 4. This is just this equation multiplied by 2. And we have 5M plus 6W is equal to 3. Now, if you subtract one equation from the other, we are going to get 3M is equal to 1, or the value of M, which is the amount of work done by a man in one day, is 1 by 3. We can use this value of M in any one of the equations. Let us substitute it in, say, this equation to calculate the value of W. So 4M will be 4 by 3 plus 3W is equal to 2, or the value of 3W is equal to 2 minus 4 by 3. 2 minus 4 by 3 is 2 by 3, or the value of W is equal to 2 by 9. So M is equal to 1 by 3, W is equal to 2 by 9. We need to calculate how long it will take 2 women and 3 men. So what is 2 women plus 3 men? One woman does 2 by 9 units of work in a day, so this is 4 by 9, plus 3 men is 3, this is 3 men is 3 into 1 by 3. So this is basically equal to 1, so this is 4 by 9 plus 1, which is equal to 13 by 9. This is the amount of work done by this group in one day. What is the total work that needs to be done? The total work that needs to be done is 12 units. So the number of days it takes them is 12 divided by 13 by 9. This will come to equal 108 divided by 13, which is equal to 8.3, which is equal to 8.3 days. Okay guys, let us look at the next slide.
Okay, so we'll end strong with time, speed, distance. I want you guys to stay with me and we'll complete time, speed, distance also. We'll be taking a look at the more advanced questions from time, speed, distance in the next marathon session along with profit, loss and interest. But here we'll do the basics questions of time, speed, distance, and I'll introduce the basic ideas that are there in time, speed, distance, which is that this is the only equation that you're going to need in time, speed, distance. This is distance is speed into time. You can change it up and say that speed is distance by time or time is distance by speed. but this is the only equation that you really need. This also tells you that distance is directly proportional to speed, distance is directly proportional to time, which means that distance 1 by distance 2 when the speed is constant will be equal to t1 by t2. Why? Because they are directly proportional to each other. If speed is constant, this ratio will be equal to this ratio. Similarly, if time is constant, distance 1 by distance 2 will be equal to speed 1 by speed 2. This is why, because they are again directly proportional. If t is constant, both of them cancel off each other. You will say that d1 by d2 is speed 1 by speed 2. The other thing is that if there is constant distance, if their distance that they are traveling is same, then speed and time are inversely proportional to each other. That is, speed 1 by speed 2 will be equal to t1 t2 by t1. That is inverse proportionality. 1 by 2 is 2 by 1, inverse proportional, because s1 t1 will be equal to s2 t2. That is, distance, if it is constant, these two are inversely proportional to each other. So you have to ask yourself, if two people are moving or two objects are moving, what is the idea? Is it constant distance? Is it constant time? If it is constant distance, then you have to use this. If it is constant time, then you have to use this. That is the only thing that is there, not really much anything other than that. Another concept which is there, which is average speed, is total distance by total time. If you travel for different parts of a particular trip, if there is like one trip, one part of the trip you travel, let's say 5 kilometers per hour. Another part of the trip you travel for like 7 kilometers per hour. Another part of the trip you travel for 9 kilometers per hour. Then they'll ask you, okay, what is the average speed? Consider what is, if they are traveling for 5 kilometers per hour, suppose they travel for 1 hour, here it is say 2 hours and here it is say 3 hours. What is the total distance traveled in this case? 5 into 1, it is 5 kilometers that is traveled. Here 7 into 2, 14 kilometers traveled. 9 into 3, 27 kilometers traveled. So the total distance that will be traveled is 5 plus 14 plus 27. So this will be 46 kilometers. Total time taken will be 6. So 46 by 6 will give you that the average speed will be 46 kilometers divided by 6 kilometers. That is your average speed. So this is the basic idea. Then when you are doing average speed, split it up into parts, calculate the total distance traveled, calculate the total time taken, divide total distance by total time, and you'll get to the average speed. This is not really a formula. This is basically a thing that you need to know. This is a shorthand form. See, when you have kilometers per hour, okay, 1 kilometer divided by 1 hour. If I want to write this in meters per second, how can I write this? 1 kilometer is 1000 meters. 1 hour. What is happening? Okay. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. I just will quickly go to our slide. These are some teething issues. We are trying out this format and there are some teething issues with it. But overall, we feel that it helps like the students see the whole of us. Wait, did I go ahead? Yeah, I went ahead by mistake. Okay. 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 Yeah. So as over here, so convert speed into kilometers per hour. So you have 1 kilometer divided by 1 hour. I can write the, okay, what is going on? Okay, it's there only. I'm there, I don't know why. Okay, back. Let's see if I can just go back. No. Okay, let it be. I'll just tell you what is the format for 1 kilometer per hour. So it is just 1 kilometer divided by 1 hour. You can write this as 1000 meters divided by 3600 seconds. 1 hour is 60 minutes, 1 minute is 60 seconds, so it is 3600 seconds. This cancels with this cancels with this. So this is 10 by 36, which is 5 by 18 meters per second. So when you are converting from kilometers per hour to meters per second, all you have to really do is multiply by 5 by 18. So if you have, say, 90 kilometers per hour, 90 kilometers per hour, how much would that be? 90 into 5 by 18. This becomes 18 cancel, this is 5, this is 25 meters per second. The inverse you have to do when you are converting like meters per second into kilometers per hour, multiply by 18 by 5. That's the only thing. Let's go to the next which is okay, fine. Sorry about this. I'll just quickly go to the answer. Okay, so this is for converting, this is the basic formulas. As I mentioned, when you're trying to solve time, speed, distance questions, you have to ask yourself, are the people who are if two people are traveling, are they traveling for a constant distance? Are they traveling for a constant time? Suppose they are traveling for a constant distance. What you have to, the equation you have to basically write is the speed of the first person into the time of the first person will be equal to the speed of the second person into the time of the second person. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Just let me see how I can fix this. There's some issue with this. Ma'am, make the font bit darker, it's blurry. Sorry about that. I'll just try it. Is there any way I can directly go? No. Sorry about that. Let me quickly go to the slide that we have. Okay, constant distance. So when do you actually come across questions on constant distance? Suppose that you have somebody who is doing the same distance again. So you have a person who like normally goes to his office. He says he starts at 8 a.m. every day and he takes some time to reach his office. How much time he takes, it's not given. If he starts at the same time but walks 20% faster, he reaches 10 minutes earlier. By what time does Amit normally reach office? Guys, try to solve this. This is like not a question, but I want you guys to learn the idea of constant distance. See, over here in this particular question, is the distance that he is traveling different? No. Every day from office to his home, the distance is constant. So when you are solving constant distance questions, you have to basically say that speed 1 into time 1 will be equal to speed 2 into time 2. Here, let the time that he normally takes be t. Now he is going to reach t minutes earlier. Minutes is slightly off because it's neither seconds nor it is hours. So instead of taking minutes, I'll convert it into hours. I'll say 10 minutes is basically 1/6 of an hour. Then we'll get answers in hours and then we can also discuss in kilometers per hour. Let the speed that he travels normally, okay, everyday speed be s. So his earlier speed, this speed into time, this is his normal, this is the distance that he covers. Now he goes 20% faster. So therefore it will be 1 plus 20%. This would be the new speed into the new time. And what is the new time? The new time is t minus 1/6. That is 1/6 of an hour lesser. So I get this equation. If I solve this equation, I'll get the value that I'm looking for, which is the value of time. Here s cancels from both sides. So what am I left with? T is equal to 1.2 times t minus 1 by 6. So this is 1.2 times t minus 0.2. So 0.2 t is equal to 0.2 or t is equal to 1 hour. Then you can say that he normally reaches what time, by what time does he normally reach office? He takes 1 hour, he starts at 8 am, he must reach office by 9 am. So by forming this one equation, that is speed into time in the normal case, is speed into time in the new case, you can then figure out, okay, that this is the time he normally takes. You can then figure out when he normally reaches office. This is when you have constant distance. Now, what is the case when you have constant time? See, when you have constant time, basically the people are traveling for the same period of time. The common example of this is people start from different ends, start together and start travel for the same time till they meet. So when it is a question of constant time, what is going to happen? That you have to just consider that, okay, people are starting at one point, they're going to travel for a certain distance and then they're going to meet. Here, because it is constant time, you can say distance 1 by speed 1 is distance 2 by speed 2. Or you can also write that because time is constant, distance 1 by distance 2 will be equal to the ratio of the speeds. That is, the ratio of the distance covered by each of them individually will be in the same ratio as their speeds. So if the ratio of the speeds is, say, x is to y, the ratio of the distances they will cover is also x is to y. So consider this question. Amit and Sumit start from Pune and Mumbai respectively and they start moving towards each other. If the ratio of their speeds is 2:3 and distance between Pune and Mumbai is 150 kilometers, then how far is their meeting place from Pune? Can somebody tell me? If the ratio of their speeds is 2:3, the ratio of their distances covered will also be 2:3, which means that Amit will cover 2x while Sumit will cover 5x, which means that together Amit covers 2/5 of the total distance, which is of 150 kilometers. So how much will he cover? He'll cover 60 kilometers, which means that the meeting place will be 60 kilometers away from Pune. Okay. So they start from Pune and Mumbai. Amit's speed is 60 kilometers. The ratio of the distances will be the same as the ratio of the speeds. Okay. You have to remember this distance is speed into time. When it is constant time, ratio of distances is equal to ratio of speed. When it is constant distance, speed 1 into time 1 is equal to speed 2 into time 2. Just this much would be enough for you to solve all questions that are there. Then we come to the concept of relative velocity. I'll just introduce the concept of relative velocity, but going deeper into it when it comes to circular tracks, etc., we'll do it in the next session because this is a deep topic. You have relative velocity with trains, with races, with boats, escalators, so many things. But I'll introduce the topic over here, but we'll go deeper in the next session. So in relative velocity, what is relative velocity? See, the idea is that suppose two people are moving towards each other. Okay, A is there and B is there. When A and B are moving towards each other, it becomes difficult for me to figure out, okay, when do they meet, how much time do they take, because I have to consider two objects that are moving. Wouldn't it be simpler if only one object was moving? Then I just have to consider, okay, what is his speed, what is the distance covered by him, what is his time. So relative velocity is a way of imagining that. See, again, when we are standing on Earth, okay, you might think that we are currently at rest, but we are on the frame of reference of Earth, and the Earth is spinning, the Earth is rotating, the Earth is revolving around the sun, our solar system is revolving in the Milky Way, and so many things, okay. So nothing is truly at rest. Everything is at rest with a frame of reference. So what you should say is that instead of thinking of frame of reference of Earth, let's consider the frame of reference of one person. That from A's frame of reference, let's see. So if I consider from A's frame of reference, I will say that A is stationary. Because if I say that Earth's frame of reference, I assume that Earth is stationary, but Earth is not stationary. What I am doing is I am artificially making one of these people stationary, and then the other person is the only person moving there. If these two people are moving towards each other with, like, say, A meters per second and B meters per second, if they are moving towards each other, I will say that in my new frame of reference of A, only B is moving and B is moving together at a combined speed of A plus B meters per second. So I get one equation. How much time would B come to meet A? How much time would B take to meet A? The distance that is there divided by A plus B. because you're moving towards each other. My speed, I give it to you. Suppose we are moving away from each other. Suppose we are moving in the same direction. Suppose like A is moving in this direction and B is also moving in this direction. If they are moving away from each other, again it is the same thing. If they are moving away from each other, again the distance between them is added. Whether they are moving towards each other or away from each other, what you see is that the direction of their speeds is the same. So direction of their speeds is opposite. Over here, if it is moving this or this, in both case, the direction is left, this is right. So again, you have to add speed. If it is like this, okay, you have like A is moving in this direction. And again, B is also moving in the other direction. As long as their directions are opposite, either towards each other or away from each other, you should add. So when the directions of movements are opposite direction, you should add the speeds. But if they are moving in the same direction, suppose A is moving at A meters per second, B is moving at B meters per second, but they are moving in the same direction, both are moving towards left or both are moving towards right, then you have to subtract the speeds. So if say B is faster, you have to say that the B speed relative to A is B minus A meters per second. Whoever is the faster, from that you deduct the person who is slower, and then you get the relative speed of B with respect to A. The idea over here is that you are trying to simplify the equation by transposing it to relative velocity field, where you are just saying that I don't want to consider, okay, 2 people are moving, 3 people are moving, I don't want to consider all of that. I make one person stationary. If both are moving towards left, then I will deduct their speeds, A minus B, whichever is higher minus lower speed, that is the relative speed of the faster thing versus the slower thing. If they are moving towards each other, moving away from each other, either case I'll add their speeds. Okay, this is the basic concept of relative velocity. We'll understand this better with some examples. So let's consider this example. Intercity Express. Just try to solve this question. I think this is blurry partly because of this light. I'll just move this light away. Maybe. No, I don't know how to move this away. Okay, I don't know whether it is making the light lesser or more. Okay. This I think is making it lesser. Okay. Okay. So what is the answer? I think I'll give time, but I think many people have already solved. But I'll give one more minute. Come on, guys, try to solve this question. Come on, guys. What do you guys think? What would be the answer? Try to solve this question. I want more of you to try to solve this question. Come on. This is an easy question. You should solve this. And the guys who just joined us, one small request from my side. Please like the stream. It helps us reach more students. It motivates us to do more of these streams. So please like the stream. Okay, so a lot of people are saying 350 B and 350. Anybody got any other answer? Let me know. Okay, so most of you got 350, which is the correct answer. So let's see how to solve. Intercity Express can completely cross Deccan Express in 20 seconds when both the trains are running in opposite direction. If they're running in opposite direction, we add their speeds. The speed of intercity express is 72 kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour, seconds doesn't match. So one of these two has to change. Either we change seconds to hours, which is harder, or we change kilometers per hour to seconds. So it is 72 kilometers per hour. So if I multiply this by 5 by 18, what do I get? Multiply by 5 by 18. 72 divided by 18 is 4. So 72 kilometers per hour is nothing other than 20 meters per second. And Deccan Express is 90 kilometers per hour. 90 multiplied by 5 by 18, this is 25 meters per second. If the length of intercity express is 200 meters more than the length of the Deccan Express, then find the length of the Deccan Express. So let the length of the Deccan Express be x. So what is the length of the intercity express? X plus 200. Okay. So can I start writing my equation? They take how much time to cross? They take 20 seconds to cross. What is their velocity when they are crossing? Since they are moving opposite to each other, we are going to add the speeds. So it is 20 plus 25. So speed will be 20 plus 25, that is 45 meters per second. What is the time? Time is 20 seconds. Okay. Time is 20 seconds, relative speed is 45 meters per second. So what is the total distance covered when they are crossing? That is speed into time. So 45 into 20, so that is 900 meters. So the total distance covered would be 900 meters. What is the distance covered when two trains cross each other? Suppose this is Intercity Express. Suppose this is the Deccan Express. They are running on two different tracks, but suppose they are like this. This is Intercity Express, this is Deccan Express. Now for them to completely cross each other, what should happen? See, basically my Intercity Express, I'll assume that it is stationary. I'm considering relative velocity. No, my Intercity Express is stationary. So that basically means that the Deccan Express has to cross the Intercity Express and then also go beyond it, so that the last part of the Deccan Express is beyond the last part of the Intercity Express. So my end position will be something like this, where the Deccan Express is over here and the Intercity Express is over here. So how much distance does the Deccan Express have to travel? So here consider the front part of the Deccan Express. Somebody is sitting over here. A is sitting at the front of the Deccan Express. So A will go from here to here. So how much distance is he covering? A will go from this point to this point. So he is covering the distance which is the length of the two trains. It is covering the sum of the length of the two trains. Then basically the two trains have crossed each other. So the distance covered, this D, is x, which is the length of my Intercity Deccan Express, plus the length of the Intercity Express, which is x plus 200. So what is the value? 2x plus 200 is 900, which means that 2x is 700. So that means x is 350 meters. When people are when trains are crossing or anything like that, what you should assume is that one person is sitting at the front of the train. So then you say front of the train person starting position, front of the train person ending position. How much distance has he traversed? From that you can figure out what is the distance traveled. Okay. Let's take a look at another question. Okay, sir. Okay. I think this is Mariti's question. I'll start the timer and ask him. Okay. Question somebody was asking, I'll just answer it. So not verified, you are asking, ma'am, 2x part explain again. So basically the train, if the Deccan City Express is 200 meters, right? And the other train is x meters, and the other train is 200 meters longer. So I say the other train is x plus 200. So x plus 200 is 2x plus 200. This is the total distance that is traveled, which is 900. So 2x becomes 700. So x becomes 350. I hope it is clear, and sorry about taking more extra time. Okay.
Okay, let me see if anybody has any doubts. And if you guys have actually gotten it correct, okay guys, I think many of you have actually gotten it correct. Let me explain this. Guys, if you have just joined, please do like the stream. The time for this question is up. Please like the stream so that it reaches more people. Okay. So on a journey across Kolkata, a taxi averages 40 kilometers per hour for Okay. A taxi averages 40 kilometers per hour for 60% of the distance. So I think if you're looking at this distance, let me clear this. Let us assume that this is the distance for 40%. Say if the total distance is 100x, for 40x, sorry, for 60x, the speed is 40 kilometers per hour. And it is 30 kilometers per hour for 20% of the distance. So for 20x, what is the speed? The speed is 30 kilometers per hour. And it is 10 kilometers per hour for the remainder. What is the remainder? The remainder will be another 20x. And for this 20x, the speed is 10 kilometers per hour. So what is the total time taken? 60x, they traveled at 40 kilometers per hour. So the time taken is 60x divided by 40 plus for this 20x, they traveled at 30 kilometers per hour. So the time taken is 20x divided by 30. And for this 20x, they traveled at 10 kilometers per hour. So the time taken is 20x divided by 10. So the total time taken is, this is 3x by 2. So this is 3x by 2 plus this is 2x by 3 plus this is 2x. This would imply that the total time taken is, you divide it by 6. This is 9x plus this will be 6x. Sorry, this won't be 6x, this will be 4x. And this will be 12x. So the total time taken will be 25x by 6. The total distance we assumed is 100x. The total time taken is 25x by 6. So the average speed is 100x divided by 25x divided by 6. This, if you simplify, will come to 24 kilometers per hour. So the answer for this question is option C. Okay guys, that is it for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any doubts or any queries, please do comment below the stream. And I also wanted to tell you one last time, the Sankalp batch for CAT is starting tomorrow. If you have any doubts or queries about it, you can call us at this number. We will be happy to answer any doubts about your CAT preparation. Thanks a lot guys for tuning in, and please do like the stream.